that was so trippy. So I was eating a dog's penis. They've got this thing called a baculum, which is like they have a bone inside. In my head, I was like, oh, it's like my penis, and I just bit straight through it and like almost like chipped a tooth on a dog's penis.
Welcome back to another episode of Trash Taste. I'm Connor, and I'm joined once again with the boys, Garnt and Joey. And today we have two special guests once again. We have Alex from I Did a Thing and Boy, and Alexa from Boy. How do you introduce like each other like normally?
Oh. Yeah.
You have a separate thing, and then you both have a joined thing together.
Yeah, we haven't decided.
We've
probably got to work it out for tax reasons as well. Like,
Can you not state that publicly?
Yeah.
Definitely don't have a tax problem.
No. You could double claim everything, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So you guys do interesting. I feel like every Aussie creator does something that is kind of a bit more unusual. I think Boy focuses more on political stuff, and I Did a Thing focuses more on destructive, creative stuff. Would you say?
How would you describe your own content to our audience?
It goes hand in hand. I do the politics, and he teaches kids how to make weapons to use, in the eventual revolution.
We're like, you don't have to state this publicly.
Yeah. Everything I've said has been incriminating.
Yeah,
you
but
do the talking.
My stuff is just kind of like, I usually describe it as like Mythbusters, but with a guy who doesn't actually know how to make anything. Is kind of
it's like Mythbusters if they were deranged and focused on weapons.
Yeah. It's kind of trying to discover. I don't know what I'm doing, learning along the way, failing most of the time. So much so that anytime I make something successful, my audience is like, "Whoa!" Like I made.
He actually did it.
Like, something happened to that. Like
some of your highlights involve making hermit shells weaponous. Turned a hermit shell into a weapon.
Yeah.
The hermit crab one, right?
Yeah.
I love that one.
Your ceiling fan into a weapon.
Yep.
I gotta ask, how close have you come to like injuring or like seriously harming yourself?
Yeah, because I like to describe I Did a Thing as try not to die challenge level Australia. It's just what it is.
It's
right?
like it's easy enough to die in Australia as it is. You were just like, let's just up the difficulty harder a little bit.
It's not exciting enough.
Yeah.
Well, I think I must just be delusional because I want to say like not very close at all, but everyone keeps telling me you're so close to dying. I'm like,
every video you are. I don't know what it looks like to you, but I hate being next to that garage.
I think the closest is probably anything to do with blank rounds. I did 2 videos using like blank rounds, and it's just like there's such a crazy amount of power there that if something goes wrong or gets diverted towards you, it will just go through you.
Well, that's because it's called a gun, right? That's pretty easy to kill.
Well,
You just described what a bullet does.
Yeah, but probably that.
Yeah. So what would you think is like the craziest, most dangerous contraption you've come up with, in your opinion?
Oh, I think it would probably be one that I did, and I was like, no, I won't muck around with that before, and it's with electricity. And I did that halfway through doing it. I realized how dangerous it actually was. That it's like, if you well, because I realized it's.
How did it take you that long?
I knew that. I didn't need to fuck around.
Yeah. So and that's I realized I'm not smart enough to do that in a safe way.
Yeah, I mean, like Electro Boom. That dude.
Yeah.
You
shouldn't muck around with stuff that if you make one mistake, you die instantly. That's my level.
It seems like he knows what he's doing, but it's still dangerous.
You'd get a lot of views though for that one video. That
if
last
I die.
video, yeah. That'd be crazy. That'd be the biggest video on YouTube.
It's got to be in 4K at least as well, so it ages.
4K. At least it's.
But you guys on your so that you do the channel called Boy, and this kind of started after your channel, right?
It was actually the first.
Oh shit!
It was just terribly unpopular for years.
Shows how much I did my research. But I think the first time I'd seen anything of your channel, and I thought it was fake at first, because I thought there's no way this could be real. You both went, and I'm not mistaken. You both went to North Korea just to get a haircut.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this has been like the press thing. You always have to talk about like, tell us about North Korea. But like, I mean, why the fuck did you do that?
That was our first ever video as well.
Yeah.
That's like a debut on YouTube. I think we wanted to go to North Korea for tourism, and
just casually,
just casually.
Because it's so weird. Like you just hear so many stories about it and how it's this kind of mystical place with these crazy rules. So like, we wanted to know, is this true? Like,
right?
Yeah.
And then ended up just making a video out of it. Like that was our first ever thing on YouTube.
How were you able to film anything there? Were they not like super strict about?
To be fair, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the place. Like it was the filming was really chill over there, just because I mean. You're on a guided tour essentially,
So they show
and
you
they
everything.
want
Right.
you. They want you filming. Like
Yeah.
everything they show you. They're like, show the world how this place is a paradise.
Yeah.
So if one of our viewers wanted to go to North Korea for tourism, which I'm sure like a lot of you guys watching are,
yeah.
what's like the process of like getting the visa and like getting over to North Korea?
It's honestly easier. That would sound like we're on the North Korean tourism board. It's honestly easier than any other country we've gone to, just because I guess
It's so easy to do because their tour companies are set up to do all of it. And I think we paid, it was kind of pricey for what we were poor students at the time, but we paid like $1,000 for 5 days. But you just send off your details to this Chinese company and they arrange all of it for you.
Was there no point where you were like, this sounds like a bad idea? Maybe we should do this.
There were some dodgy bits like when you got that call in the morning.
Yeah. There was a couple of things. So the lead up to this scary call in the morning was they said you can take photos of anything, but the one thing we don't want you to do is take photos of the military. So after a day being there, I was like, well, I'm going to take photos of the military. So I just started taking photos of the military. And then one time they saw me doing that. So they asked if they could go through my camera. And then they were going through my camera looking for the photos of the military to delete that. But it was really funny because you know how if you record a video, it has a thumbnail?
Yeah.
Which the thumbnail was there and they thought that was the photo. So they were just like, why is this
It's
guy
like, why is
keep
there a play button
taking
in the
photos of the ground? Like, they didn't look through any of my videos, but they deleted some photos of the military. And then so that kind of put me on their radar. So then I was a bit stressed, like, oh, I've pissed them off.
You did the best emotional manipulation on them. That was insane. They stopped going through your camera because you started crying.
Yeah, I started crying.
Wait. What's the wait? They're like, can you have the camera?
Because they started deleting photos of the travel, and I took this photo of this like really like this boy was sitting down at the river and he was like fishing, and I took a photo and I thought it was like
deleted it. They
they deleted it, and then I started getting tears in my eyes, and then they stopped deleting
I
the
thought in my head
photos.
this guy would be so brutal, but like they just see a grown man crying, like this has gone too far. Like,
That's where the compassion kicks in.
Like, what are monsters in North Korea?
I think they were worried about the press. Though.
It's weird that we worry about the press when they're just arresting other people.
Yeah.
Oh my
Go. So
God.
that seems weird that they'd care about that.
But it was weird, like all the tourists kind of stay in the one like specific tourist hotel.
Yeah, right.
And like you never really know what's going on. Everyone's kind of assuming that it's all bugged and they're listening to you and stuff. And then one time we were out, we're like privately talking. We're like, okay, if it is bugged, let's just tonight when we go back, we'll just talk to each other in gibberish all night, just in our room. And hopefully there's a North Korean person behind the scenes, like flicking through the translator books. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, well, like we did speaking.
We did not give up for like hours, just saying nonsense.
Just for hours. Like, it's great.
So how closely were you guys monitored? Were you guys allowed to leave the hotel room at all?
No.
Was it
Yeah, we
like
couldn't-
kind of like
No,
quarantining?
we could just walk around the hotel. We paid a bit extra to do like a private tour for the last days, and then that's like more or less free.
They
We were
said
just
it was a walking tour of the city, and we imagined, oh, you just get to walk. But it was like they took us to a street, and then the two guides walked down the street to the end, and then back up to our starting point.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's a very
you don't-
restrictive.
You don't get to see very much.
No. They're showing you what they want you to see.
Right.
The
Yeah.
good parts. But
Was it good? The good parts, or was it just kind of like?
It was actually fine. I mean, like, yeah, a lot of the good parts seem fairly nice.
And that's the best it gets, I
Yeah.
guess. So
Yeah.
I think, but the one weird thing was, I think they've got this vision that they're actually like this best in the world kind of utopia.
yeah.
And so some of the photos that they had issues with, like Alex taking a photo of that kid, they were just like, oh, he's barefoot. You can't have that. You know, he looks poor.
Oh.
And it's just like, dude, people don't wear shoes. Alex never wears shoes.
Come to Australia one time.
yeah, and also the kid was like swimming in the river with no rubbish, and we just came from China where everything's like covered in rubbish, and we're like, no, this actually looks pretty
this looks
chill.
good.
Yeah.
You're like, calm down.
You
They're
need
like-
to go through China to get into North Korea.
Yeah, through
yeah.
Dandong.
Yeah. How's the food there? I'm curious.
I mean, I don't think it's a fair judgment because we obviously paid money, and I think they would obviously. It was delicious. It was just like.
Did you guys
really
go
nice.
to like a local restaurant or something or whatever they took
No,
you to?
it's all,
Barely.
it's
Like,
all
I mean-
arranged.
Yeah.
Right. Because
I don't think there are local restaurants in North Korea. I don't think they have any.
I actually I don't think I've ever told this story on the podcast before, but so this is like one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had, right? So I was this was when I was living in Thailand, and I was out with Sydney at the time. And we were walking around and we were just like trying to find a restaurant. We were just in like the middle of Bangkok. And we see this one massive restaurant, and we recognize that it's a Korean restaurant. So we're like, great, I'm craving Korean. Let's try going in. And then we head in, and then something's like off, because we go in and it's a Saturday night. It's a massive fucking restaurant, and it's completely empty, right?
Right.
And then the servers come up, and we soon realize that we're in Thailand. So we expect them to at least speak Thai or their second language. A lot of people speak English. They did not speak any Thai or any English at all. And for some reason, all of the girls, there were all girls there. All of the girls who were serving us had like this look like they had a gun pointed at them or something like that. And it
Jesus.
And it was super, super weird. So we go into this restaurant, and they serve us, and there's like 2 items on the menu or something, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here, right? So the only person who spoke Thai there was the manager, who kind of didn't really know what was going on. She was like, I asked her, well, what do you recommend on the menu? And she was like, I don't fucking know. Ask the girls. And so I try like communicating with these girls. Oh, what do you want on the menu? And I was like, is it okay if I leave? To like the manager, and she translates that to the girls, and the girls are like, no, please don't leave. I'll get you this. I recommend this. It's okay. I'll get you this right now. What? And so we get this, like, I think it's like a chicken soup or something. And the entire time, the girls are like, I don't know. The girls just look scared. Something was off with this restaurant, and in the end, they ended up double charging my card. And I try explaining, hey, I think you've double charged my card. And they're like, no, we haven't. And I explained to the manager, you've double charged my card. And she's like, I can't do anything about this.
What the fuck?
Feeling rockets.
I recommend you just leave right now.
Nice.
And so we leave. And I'm like, that's a weird fucking experience. And so we Google it. And we find out that it is a state-funded North Korean restaurant.
Yeah.
And we had just like walked into a North Korean state-funded restaurant. And I was like, I didn't know this existed.
Yeah,
you know,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
They're like basically like they're kind of held hostage. But yeah, I heard about this because I think there's a video, probably like fucking half as interesting did it or something, about how the North Korean government funds like restaurants of North Korean food to kind of get people to appreciate the culture more.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised it's bad service, because like we had the opposite in North Korea, where it was like so like obsessed on making everything perfect that it was just like almost freaky in the other direction.
Yeah.
We're like,
Right.
This is too much. Like, chill out.
Well,
a
maybe
bit.
it's because you guys were in the mainland, right? So
Yeah.
like they had
yeah,
like
yeah.
a standard to fill up, whereas
Yeah.
like, you know, them in Thailand, they're just like, no one's gonna fucking walk in here.
they
know.
Also, I bet they spoke fluent Thai and English. They were just trying to scam you. They were like, not to-
So we're gonna fuck with this guy really hard. Oh my god, that's terrifying.
Was there anything about North Korea that surprised you guys that you weren't expecting?
I think, the relationship with the leader was pretty confronting. I don't know, but I guess that's kind of what you expect.
Yeah, because we went there to try and kind of like, you know, look at it from a pretty like neutral point of view and try to like maybe dispel some of the Western things,
Right.
stories about North Korea. But yeah, the stuff with the leader, where like every single person has the leader's face and they're viewed as a god.
Yeah.
And there were some hilarious moments where we went to the Museum of Friendship, where they had
Makes you just want to cry.
like it was the place where there was all the gifts that Kim Jong-un had received from leaders around the world,
Because everyone loves him.
because everyone loves him.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
We all
best
love him,
mates.
right?
Yeah,
So-
and one of them was like a gift from the CEO of Samsung
Yeah.
from Korea, and she shows us this cabinet, and she was like, "This is all the gifts from the CEO of Samsung," and inside the cabinet was just Apple computers.
From like the 90s, like the
Yeah.
old fat man. And he's like the latest Samsung technology.
And we were just like trying not to laugh. You're like, they just
how do
they don't
what?
know. Like,
They had another one there. It's just so hard because you see how earnest these people are who are telling you this stuff. I'm like, I cannot laugh
Because they
at you.
genuinely believe it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like
Yeah.
They had the
you know.
best one. They had this portrait there that he was gifted. I forgot from who. And it's like, this is our dear leader riding a tiger in a suit of armor, smoking a cigarette. And I was just like,
and he's on top of a mountain smoking a cigarette. And she's just showing us his thing. And we're just like trying not to laugh so hard. Like,
Oh my god, these are just so they're just like proudly showing everything off, and a lot of them are just fucking weird.
Oh, there was some
strange.
weird.
They
weird
don't
stuff.
know any better,
You said
right?
something about a mausoleum or something.
Oh, yeah,
that
we
was
went to the
insane,
because
yeah.
like the dad and the granddad, so Kim
Yeah,
Jong Il
right.
and Kim Il Sung are like,
They have a mausoleum for them,
yeah,
obviously,
they're embalmed over there,
God.
and
Madam Two Swords.
yeah, exactly. Wax music.
Yeah, Madam Two Swords North Korea version.
It's, it was so bizarre because we go there to like, you even to pay your respects to these guys, and we get out like, I don't know how far away it was, like a kilometer away from the actual mausoleum. Like, what are we doing here? You don't actually go in. You go into this like underground bit, and you're on travelators, like and you stand on there, and they're going slower than walking pace, and it's just the North Korean national anthem blaring, and you're literally standing on that travelator for like an hour.
It was probably like
Jesus.
half an hour, and they made us stand in a block
Formation.
of 16, so 4 by 4 people, and we had to just stand still as we like floated down this elevator with like pictures of just North Korean landscape, and then we got to the end, and there was this.
You get to these different rooms where like one of them had like brushes on the floor that like clean your feet, and then you go into another room that blows all like the dust off you because you need to be nice and clean before you see the guys.
It's so
And then-
dystopian.
But when
It
you
was
finally get there, it's like, it's so sad. You've got, because we were there with a bunch of other North Koreans, and like everyone's like crying. It's like, oh no, these guys are dead. You've got guards, like armed guards around them, and like the guards are crying. And, like the guy's like wiping away his tears. And I'm like, you're there every day. Like how
How are you crying every
Yeah.
day?
Yeah, that's a lot of tears.
This job never gets easier.
The turnover rate for the guards must be so high.
Just emotional
But
depression.
I was really lucky because I had a bit of a cold, so I was like sneezing and teary the whole time. So I'm like, this is great. I'm fitting in perfectly. I'm legitimately crying at the tomb.
It's
of
like, we
the
got
leader.
him.
To North Korea.
Yeah.
Was it, because obviously I imagine there's something in your passport that's like, I went to North Korea. Right?
Yeah.
Have you ever had any questions when you're
In
traveling?
America,
They're like, why do you go?
we had to get interviewed because normally Australians can go like on an ESTA visa to America,
yeah.
but we can't. We have to go and get interviewed by
because
the
you went-
American guards who ask the weirdest fucking questions and
So you
like
had to get the B one? Is that the one? The one?
oh, the business
business
the big
one.
one,
Yeah,
right.
which was just so weird, and they're just so strangely
They're so
staunch
intimidating.
about it.
Yeah.
So just because you went to North Korea?
Yeah, and it's
you
like, what do you think? I'm a spy? It was the worst spy in the world. Like,
can't- what kind of questions are they asking? Like,
oh, just why did you go there? Did you enjoy it? And when they asked me, did you enjoy it? I was like, but if I say yes, am I a spy? So I was like, it was weird.
Yeah, you're trying to like, do you want me to say it was bad?
they always ask the most pointless questions. That just feel like, well, you're not getting anything out of this. Like,
It's
why?
pointless, but they're also just like angry at you. Like you're
Yeah.
just like, am I wasting your time? Like I don't understand what's happening.
I just loved it that we're getting interviewed by Americans about North Korea. I looked behind the guy interviewing me, and there was a massive portrait of Donald Trump looking like Kim Jong Un looking down. And I was like, it's exactly the same. It's the same
And
place.
in the
Like,
embassy, they made us like, they took all our stuff and like, we were like, they took our shoes and we're just walking through the embassy barefoot, and we're like, wow, it's like I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty hectic
North
security.
Korea would not be allowed.
Yeah.
As we've learned, no shoes. You have to have shoes. You have to have shoes.
Jesus.
So do you get questioned every time you go to America? Or
No, it's just the once when we got, but once the visa expires, we'll have to do
We'll
that
have to do it
again.
again,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
that sounds, that
Pain
sounds
in
like
the
hell,
arse.
man.
Yeah.
So that just set the precedent for your channel then. It's like, okay, we went to North Korea. That kind of like, what's next?
It's just all been downhill from there.
Did you make the channel in mind being like, I want to get political and talk about kind of just have opinions and things?
Yeah, I think that was the goal of it. Kind of just try to make politics funny. Try to brainwash people who don't want to hear anything about politics. People who just want to laugh.
Yeah, because I saw the video where it was like how much money can you launder in the Australian casinos.
Wait, what?
Yeah, George, you want to explain it?
Yeah,
That was a really fun one. There's this guy, Troy Stoles. He's like a whistleblower.
Yeah.
He's a dude who used to work for the gambling, I guess, gambling industry to like check if they're doing, what is it? If they're complying with money laundering
This
regulations.
is in Australia.
Yeah.
It turns out all these casinos aren't. They're like actively letting money laundering happen because they make money from it, and all this stuff. And he reveals this, and then they like sue the shit out of him, and like this guy's like getting fucked up. Sorry, we're allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
Fine, of course.
We've done it a lot.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I just want to talk about Chad showed his ass on the last one. So, and like this guy's getting screwed, and I don't know. It was a very, very sad situation. So we like kind of came in and got him to show us how you launder money in a casino.
Yeah.
So,
and just how easy it is. It's incredibly easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy that you go to a poker machine, you put in as much money as you want.
take notes because this is how you.
Yep. Then you hit a button and it will just give you a receipt, which
Yeah.
you can take up to the counter, and they will give you clean bills. Not only clean bills, but a receipt that says you won this from gambling,
And then it's
and then
tax-free.
and then it's tax-free money.
Yeah.
Wait, it's tax-free money.
And you can do it on a thing up to $7,000, and you can do that onto multiple machines. So we easily did like $25,000 in like 2-3 hours.
But
It
the
was
thing
insane.
is, we weren't even just. At first, we were just seeing if we could do it, and it was fine. Then after that, we're like, oh, if it's this easy, like maybe we'll up the stakes, and we're just wearing different costumes. Like you had the shirts, or like I'm laundering money right now.
Yeah.
Like, something.
yeah,
Like I was dressed
Jesus.
as like a robber in there. It was just like it doesn't matter. Like
they don't care. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Have you ever been contacted by like the authorities or
Well,
anything?
we-
for,
yeah.
We got banned from the casinos in Australia for a different reason for another video.
Yeah, you did a video where you, because I guess during COVID,
Yeah,
you were seeing
that's
if they were complying with COVID rules, and then you
Yeah.
went in with a fever.
Yeah.
you got a little high. They like you heat up your arm. What did
Oh,
you do?
we had a hats on and we put heat packs under the hats. And then we took off the hats just before so they didn't see the heat packs.
Yeah.
Right.
And my head was something around 50 degrees. Which is
Like, you would be dead.
if you're that hot,
You're
you're
dead.
dead.
Yeah,
You're dead.
yeah.
And they kind of scanned our heads and they were like, oh, just wait here for a minute. And then they did that and then just let us in with like 50-degree fevers.
And you were wearing like a hospital.
Oh,
Yeah, Alexa was wearing a hospital
Buckled
vest.
down with like
Yeah.
a drip.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you look like you came from the hospital. I'm like, yeah, I did, but I'm feeling lucky, you know. I wanna go. And they were just like, oh, just get changed first, and then you can go in.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I was
This
like,
is so fucking insane.
And then recently I had the police come to my mum's house.
oh, wait, after that we got banned from the casino.
Oh, yeah,
that was
yeah.
that was
Right,
the
right.
conclusion. So yeah, they did contact us.
Why did you get banned? Sorry, why did you the police get called to your mum's house?
It was because of a video I made 5 years ago. I made a gun. I don't like saying gun.
Don't say gun.
You're gonna just end it there. I made a gun.
I
made a gun.
A device that should propel.
Yes, a propelling device that propelled tampons. So it was like a Nerf propeller that shot tampons. And I made it 5 years ago, and it was horrible. It didn't work well at all.
So wait, why did they give a fuck about that?
Because they came and they were telling my mum, they were just like, oh, it's so dangerous what Alex has done. Because what if like the bikies got a hold of it or someone else got a hold of it? And it was just like, the bikies have real guns. Yeah. Like, what are they going to do with this?
Also,
So it was,
tampons cost like $1 million. Surely bullets are cheaper.
and it didn't work very well. I almost felt like telling them, like, no, I could make much better things now. But I was like, oh,
See the hammer right now.
yeah.
Wait, so how did that go then? So they just
so
come
then-
in and just explaining to your mom, and then they just left.
So I destroyed the device very
Oh my
quickly
God.
after making it. So
right.
luckily I didn't have it. And then they just they were pretty chill about it. There were 2 female cops, which was very funny that they were looking for the tampon launcher. But then they just said like, oh, if he has it, there's a thing in Australia called a gun amnesty. So if you make a device or you have a unregistered firearm, you can give it into the police without questions.
Right.
I don't have the device. I like I'm saying this a lot.
I have not
Just the
broken
preface.
any laws.
And then I just told them that I didn't have the device anymore, and they were happy
Right.
with that.
So
You have my
I'm-
word. I don't have it.
yeah. So I'm sure you would know this best, but what like technically is like the definition of a gun in the in the eyes of the Australian law?
I think it's pretty vague in terms of it's like, because my opinion of it, like I thought
My opinion.
Your legal opinion.
my legal opinion as a lawyer, I thought it was something that needed a trigger, then that uses anything to project something.
Like
Right.
But it
gunpowder type thing,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
but it turns out it's not. You don't need a trigger. It's just anything that projects anything out of anything.
Okay.
So it's like
So a Nerf gun could be a
a
gun.
Nerf gun was a gun. So it's like an air rifle is a gun. A blow gun
Right.
is a gun.
What?
Because
Your lungs.
you're projecting something.
Can you get arrested?
It's insane rules. Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
So where do they draw the line? How much?
Is it
how
vague
much-
intentionally?
Yeah.
To just kind of crack down on whoever they want to crack down on.
Probably. Because if you look up what's illegal here, like nunchucks are illegal, throwing stars are illegal,
Nunchucks
throwing
are illegal?
knives.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff
Ever since we had
isn't-
that big nunchuck massacre in Tasmania, we just like,
Well, nunchucks are illegal in a lot of places, actually.
Oh, yeah?
They're illegal in Japan as well. I'm
Why?
pretty
What?
sure.
They just hurt yourself. Well, I tried using it, whacked myself in the
I'm
head. like-
pretty sure they're illegal. I could be making this up.
great.
Maybe Kai can check. I swear I was going to buy them on Wish.com one time, and I live, and people were like, "No, don't do that. That's illegal." I was like, "It's 2 planks of wood.
Yeah.
How is this like? I can own a knife. Like I
These
feel like
politicians just watched one too many Bruce Lee movies.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
If he can do that, anyone can do that.
That
like-
guy's good.
Yeah.
I think like brass knuckles also obviously
Yeah.
for obvious reasons are
Okay.
illegal in a
Well,
lot of
if
places.
brass knuckles are illegal, I would say
no
nunchucks
one
are-
needs
that
brass
makes more
knuckles.
sense than the
Yeah,
nunchucks.
true.
No, no,
I'd say,
yeah.
I think nunchucks are like probably more dangerous, right?
No,
I mean,
if you know how to use
if
it.
you know how to use it, if you know how to use it.
brass knuckles are made for just beating people up like
Yeah.
to the point
Okay.
of like death.
No,
Yeah.
okay. If I'm in a street fight and someone brings out some fucking nunchucks, all right,
yeah.
I'm getting the fuck out.
That
right?
means they're not dangerous because if someone actually pulls them out and does a trick, you'll be like, this guy's serious. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Brass knuckles, they're hidden until someone hits you in the face with them.
Yeah.
That's true. But that, it's because nunchucks have a skill ceiling. So, so I'm like, if someone brings out, I'm like, I'm getting
But
fucked.
no one would
now.
bring out nunchucks in a fight if they weren't competent in it.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. That's my exact point.
You're like, all right, fuck.
that guy.
All right,
He's
fine.
insane.
Yeah, brass knuckles. You know how brass knuckles works. Nunchucks. I have no idea how the fuck that works. Man.
So speaking of fighting, you both also were going to fight and then both got fucked up. Presumably with solid nunchucks.
That was actually not knowing how to use brass knuckles. I tried to train boxing and fuck myself.
And
up,
just,
yeah.
yeah.
So you were in the first creator clash and you were going to do the second one. But
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
unfortunately got a concussion. And you were going to do chess boxing against Myth. And then you got a concussion as well. But you gave him a concussion.
Yeah. He fucked me up.
We just sound like the biggest idiots.
No,
when you
yeah,
just
just
you
dumb
spell it
guys.
out like that.
The worst part about when Alex knocked me out, it was because we were sparring all the time, and at one point, like 5 weeks before the match, because he's just a big and strong guy, Alex, and he
You're very big.
he punched me like in the chest, and he broke one of my ribs. And it was like, it was 5 weeks out from the thing, and I looked it up online. It's like, okay, it takes 5 weeks for a broken rib to heal. Like, I'm in this. I've still got it.
Yeah.
It's like, we can keep training, but no more body shots, just headshots. And then like sooner or later, he just knocked me out. And it's just like, okay, so headshots aren't safe. Yeah.
It's just, it's such a dumb sport that like, I mean, there's obviously ways to train relatively safe, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's like you're just getting hit in the head. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's just, and then when it happened to me, I was like, this isn't worth it. at
Right.
I'm
all.
scared the crap
It's
out of me.
fucking scary. And he was bad.
Mine
Like
was
we had it
horrible.
where we were having a party at the house and he wasn't drinking at all because he was concussed. And I went to the bathroom, came back, and then Alexa was talking to some people, but he was just kind of talking gibberish and he sounded really drunk. And I was like, oh, Alexa's fucked. He's so drunk. And I was like, wait, he's not drinking. I was like, he's just that concussed.
I was scared for a while. Those like first couple of weeks where I was like slurring my words, I thought like, is this the rest of my life? Like, am I just I've disabled myself for no reason. Like, luckily
play chess.
it's over.
Yeah.
To play chess.
You just get punched, and how long does it last? Like what? Like
This was like 2 months of non-stop headaches.
Jesus.
that's not worth it. Fuck that.
Yeah.
For like 10 minutes on a live stream is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
really
yeah.
worth it? Like
And it's dangerous because so many people are into the creator boxing scene
Yeah.
now, and
Yeah.
we don't really know how fucked up everyone's going to be. Because with professional fighters, it's when they're 50 or 60, they just can't speak.
And we
Yeah.
haven't we haven't had like a proper debilitating injury yet, and I'm sure one's gonna happen. Some creator's gonna get like messed up forever. Like
isn't
Yeah.
it when you get one concussion, getting a second one is way easier?
Yeah.
So it's like it's just like a cycle.
Worse.
And I guess because everyone's not really a professional fighter, which what the fuck even is a professional fighter? Just someone who's been concussed 100 times. It seems pretty rough. I mean, some of the fights look pretty bad afterwards.
Yeah.
You see people who are pretty fucked up. You're like, oh god.
No.
Yeah, we were making videos like 2 days ago. Why are we doing this?
you already have a career. Like you're not trying to be a professional boxer.
Yeah, but it must have been some kind of like, fuck, I wish I could have fought in that there. I trained so hard.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
That
It's
sucks.
real love-hate where it's like just the ultra competitiveness and
Right.
unreal nature of it is just something else. Like
Yeah.
it almost feels like it activates this kind of primal part of your brain. Like when I had it, it was just like no thoughts, just focusing on kill man, kill man, with this weird like part of your brain. And it's fun to be there for a bit.
How long
but
did you
terrifying.
train? How long did you train for the first creator clash?
I think I was training for like maybe 7 months, 6 months.
Damn.
And there's a lot of like the sparring was terrifying. Like doing like because I'd been in fights but never thrown a punch before that, where it was just like mates being dickheads in a bar, and then but it was always like the option was like if someone's going to punch me, you run away. But then having to stand in a ring and face this big guy that wants to punch you, who knows how to punch, is like the scariest thing.
How hard did you go in training compared to like the actual event itself? Because if you can get concussed in training, that you obviously are going pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, for me, because my fight, I didn't get punched. the training was much worse. Getting just punched over and over and over again.
You're like, oh, this is easy mode now.
Chess 7 was the first one. How long were you training for the chess boxing one?
That wasn't that long. It was like 3.5 months.
That's still
I
a
think,
long time.
Yeah.
that's
It was
wild.
great though. I love because I've never been a athlete.
Yeah,
of any
yeah.
kind. Like it is pretty nice to have that kind of regimented life, have like a big goal, and like have someone on the other side of the world who wants to beat the shit out of you. Like it's such a good motivator to do anything. Really. I want to get Myth to beat me up just for
fun.
cleaning my
Just for shits
room
and
or learning the clarinet.
For
I don't know.
making a video.
Oh yeah, I gotta make a video.
Yeah,
Would you guys ever do it?
Yeah.
No, hell no.
maybe.
I mean, after hearing these stories, hell no.
I don't know. I feel like it's just like a good excuse to get in shape. Which
Yeah.
is the
Oh,
biggest
100%.
thing, the biggest reason.
Yeah, but you can do that without getting punched in the head as well.
Yeah, but like sometimes
It's just called going to the gym.
What better motivation is there than like the danger of getting hit in the fucking
gotcha.
face? You know
Yeah.
that
I'm
is
looking like
that
an
is the
idiot.
best motivator you can.
I've never been more motivated in my life.
And you don't want to be that guy who loses in the first round, right? Like that's a powerful motivator to get you to fucking train. I would have liked to have done it, but I have like a blood condition, so no one will allow me to. And also I shouldn't because it'd be dumb.
Wait, you weren't training for the slap boxing that you did?
No, I just fucking went up and did that. That was like last minute. You guys,
Because it was meant to be XQC or something.
yeah, you remember, right? Because
We were there, yeah.
I remember I was pissing and he was like, I don't know who I'll ask. I was like, I might ask Alex, and I was like, I don't mind doing it as well. Like I was sure. So that was all last minute.
But you were great.
Yeah.
Like your stage presence up there, I was just like, he looks like this is WWE.
Yeah.
This is fucking awesome.
You were
That's
both
very
wearing
kind.
suits. It was just like,
Well, that's very nice of you. Yeah, it was all fucking last minute. You know, just kind of was like, all right, let's do. So we were sitting together. Just drinking beers, and then suddenly the production comes up to me. He's like, "Are you ready?" I was like, "What?" And he waited 2 hours to go up. And I started shitting myself. So I'm like, fuck! I came here to like hang out and just like have a good time and drink beers, and then I have to go up. But it was fun though. It was definitely a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to go up at all. That was very unusual.
Since you were training for the chess boxing, because I talked to like a bunch of creators who were part of the chess boxing event, and there seemed to be a disparity between how much training you put into boxing versus how much people were putting into the chess aspect of things. Did you actually like practice any chess at all?
I love chess. Like
Oh,
I've been,
okay.
I've been
Method
smashing
chess.
chess since I was a kid. My dad's like a competitive chess guy. So like I've been.
Your dad's
trained-
like 1400, isn't he?
Oh, damn.
He's 17.
Oh, wow.
I think.
1700, yeah.
He's a big guy. Well, in boxing, in chess, not boxing. But
just a big guy.
He beats you as well.
But,
So what's your plot of the queen?
that was my kind of secret weapon. I've been
Right.
well,
trained it.
Myth's chess was fucking awful.
Awful, yeah.
So
but
you would
yeah.
have easily won.
You could have won with a concussion, I think.
The best thing about that was hearing that Ludwig had lied to you about Myth, but then Ludwig had lied to Myth about you. Myth thought you were 6'1", and
Yeah.
you're actually 6'3", and what you thought he was.
I thought he was shorter than he was, and I thought so. Ludwig told me that he was like almost like 10 kilograms lighter than he was.
Yeah, and then you both found out at the same time, and you're both like, "What?"
Like, we look at each other. We're like, "Wait a minute, who is this guy?" Yeah.
Oh my god.
Very funny.
So no more boxing. You think
I
you're
don't
done?
think so. I think I'm done unless there's someone that's just like a ridiculously easy opponent that I actually hate for some reason. I feel like boxing, if you actually hate someone, then you'd be like, well, there's a purpose here. But you hear boxers
if
be
you-
like, oh, you want to box a friend? It's like, why do you want to give a friend
No,
a
it's so
concussion?
bad.
No, you should box someone you hate.
Yeah, a lot of those matches were like they're friends of each other, and it's like,
No, like me and Fitz, and I think that would have been like a fucked up fight. Like, because we're both lanky. He's like 6'6". I think it would have just been both of us being really badly.
But also, you guys are like in love with each other, which is like sucks.
Yeah.
One of you is going to go less hard. One of you is not going to be able to be that angry.
you could
Yeah.
do like they do in Bruno at the end. Instead
Oh,
of,
it's
like,
so
fighting,
We
start-
were talking about that.
just start dancing.
Just start having sex. Actual sex on the thing. Be like
Oh my
in
god.
Florida as well.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
Great
you get
Clash is like
executed.
super romantic. I mean, they fucking sing the national anthem like half.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You'd
yeah.
be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's fucking
Let's fuck.
Let's just start going at it. That's the pay-per-view would be worthwhile.
That would be
You would steal the
great.
show.
Yeah, that would be.
Isn't it sponsored by Fansly or?
I think
it was.
so. Yeah.
Maybe something. That's a great,
Perfect.
great
Well,
thing.
yeah, it was Fansly. Yeah, it
Good
was.
way to launch our OnlyFans group.
Money's getting low. We got to fund it more. Let's get it out. Let's do it.
This episode is sponsored by Boxu.
Boxu delivers the experience of tasting authentic Japanese snacks, candies, and teas sourced directly from centuries-old small family businesses right to your door. Their mission is to empower Japan's traditional snack makers by sharing their authentic foods and stories with the world.
What do we have this month? Let's check it out because Boxu every single month comes with a brand new theme. This month we have Luminous Tokyo.
When you order your first Boxu, the first box you'll receive is called the Seasons of Japan. Think their greatest hits of flavors and snacks. And then following that, you'll get a themed box every single month, like the boys just introduced.
So we got right here a Hana Okaki from Hiroshima. These are kind of like rice crackers, but with shoyu flavor.
That looks good.
You had a crunch ball?
That sounds amazing. I'm so jealous.
Connor, I found a snack that I know you will like. It's a mikan snack, Connor. Do you want to have a taste, Connor? Don't worry, Connor. I'll taste it for you.
They're actually mikan marshmallows.
Oh, that's good.
But not only that, every Boxu comes with its own tea pairing as well. We actually have mikan tea right here, mandarin tea, which is actually very nice, especially during the summertime.
We've been living in Japan for about 4 years now, Joey longer, but you genuinely don't normally get to see these kinds of snacks.
No.
So even for us, we get to try something new with a Boxu.
So to get $15 off your own Boxu Japanese snack box and supporting the channel in the process, use our code TRASHTASTE at boxu.com. That's BOKKSU.com. That is BOKKSU.com with code TRASHTASTE for $15 off your first order.
Thank you very much, Boxu, for sponsoring us today. Back to the episode.
You've also made a lot of videos about guns in America as well. Both of you, right? You did the one where you strapped an automatic gun to one of those dogs.
That was the most terrifying video I've ever seen.
and you did the video in the same ranch, kind of talking about guns and the politics of America and why people are obsessed with guns.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Where do we start? Okay, I'm curious. How the fuck did you get one of those dogs? And how did you convince someone to let you have a dog to put a gun on?
It was pretty funny because it was one of the
One of the Boston Dynamics.
This was
dogs.
like a
Chinese
rip-off version of that. It's still a good dog.
How is
Good
it
boy.
He's a good boy.
How is there rip-off versions of that dog? That seems like such a specialized tech.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
crazy
think
to think that there's a version
China
of it.
probably saw it and was like, we can do that for cheaper. It won't work as well, but we can do it for cheaper. But yeah, it was funny because I hit up the company, which is, I'm going to say their name because I find it funny to piss them off, Unitree. And I was like, oh, can I do this? I want to put a gun on it. And they're just like, first they were interested. And then when they heard the idea, just no response. Yeah. So then I tried contacting different people. No one wanted to, but I found a man who wanted to remain anonymous.
And in the video, you just named a random name.
Random man, and people were so pissed off. They're just like, you said anonymous, but you named him. And it's like, it's a joke. Like, but yeah, and then this guy really liked the idea and really wanted to know what would happen. And he happened to be in the same place as in Texas as the guy that had the gun. So I was like, this is perfect. Yeah. So yeah, we got in contact with him, got the dog, and then went to Brandon Herrera's place, who's a big gun YouTuber.
I'd never heard of this guy until this
Yeah. And then, put a machine gun on the dog, and it was terrifying. There was no...
It was a bad video. Like that. Probably the most scared I've been.
That is so that you asked the most dangerous thing. That is the scariest thing I've
Because you
ever
just
done.
were controlling the dog via like a little dinky.
It was the GoPro app, and the worst thing was that I was like, okay, safety, we're behind a mound, so if the dog flips over, we'll be safe. But the GoPro lost signal behind the mound, so I had to like stick my head up with the GoPro looking, and then when I saw it shoot, would have to dodge. But obviously, you can't dodge a bullet. So it's like, if I turned towards me, it would have been too late. So it's like
the dog was so unstable with like a fully automatic weapon on top of it. So like anytime it would burst fire, the dog would just like flip,
its
flip
legs
around
would lift up, it would go and just run back.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because like, how'd you go about testing that in a safe environment?
Yeah, we started with like one bullet in the magazine, single shot. But still it's really scary, just really scary. And that's like, my videos are scary, but then being around something that's well designed to kill people and then mucking around with that is just like something else. Like, yeah.
So why?
Well, I thought it would be like propose an idea to the Americans who seem very like willing to do anything else besides like gun control. It's like, let's do an American idea then of like machine gun on a robot dog to prevent school shootings. There's like,
Oh my god.
It's like the political argument. Like whenever a school shooting happens, a lot of people are like, "Oh, we need more guns."
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what does that look like? Like, what's
yeah, let's do the extreme of that.
Yeah.
Like, robot dog in the classroom with a gun. Just kind of like, just making fun of the whole thing. And like,
Yeah.
it's funny how annoyed Americans get at anything to do with taking guns away.
Did you get a lot of heat for that video?
Yeah, quite a lot of heat, which was
Wow, what a
fun 'cause
shocker.
I hadn't experienced that before, and I was kind of like,
And it's scarier than normal heat because all these people have guns. It's not just a random death threat. It's like, oh, by the way, you can also do it. Like,
this guy's not joking. And as well, some of them, because a lot of them were in America, but then I had some Australians hit me up and be like, we've got guns here as well. And I was like, whoa, like, it's funny to piss someone off with a gun and their response is like, I'm going to shoot you. That's all I know.
You're making a great case for gun control here.
Did you get any threats or anything like that, or was it?
Yeah, a
just,
couple of death
oh my
threats
God.
and like
what? Like, how dare you put a gun on a dog? I'm gonna shoot you.
it's-
I'm gonna shoot you.
yeah, just talking about gun rights and that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
And you at the same place had a video, kind of just more kind of political and introspective
yeah.
conversation with
I
some of the
think
people on this gun ranch
It's
or
hard, yeah,
whatever it
'cause
is.
there's so many guns in America, and we're just kind of trying to work out like what the justification is. And like a lot of time they push this thing where it's like, we need guns to protect ourselves from like a tyrannical government, like there'll never be an evil government if we can defend ourselves. And then we're just kind of analyzing that, saying like, I don't know, America's got like crazy police, like the biggest prison population in the world, but like tyranny's already happening. Like, what are your guns? Like, the guns are just a hobby. Like,
and these guys that say they want to use their guns to protect from the government, they love the police.
Yeah,
that was the
yeah,
main
yeah.
point of being like, you love the police.
Like,
if the police came over, you'd suck them off.
Yeah.
Like, you're not defending from them. What are you
You're not
talking
fighting
about?
these guys. Like, that's not why you have these guns.
They're your
Like,
buddies. So it's just pointing out that they're more of a hobby.
It's just weird seeing it, and they're like so proud to show off like guns from like World War II, and they're like, "This is a Nazi gun." And it's like, why?
Why do you have this?
No one needs this. Like, how do you have this?
And it's funny when you get an obsession with Nazi stuff because he was like, that's a bit weird.
yeah.
It's like, why did you have to bring that into it?
Yeah.
What I want to know is how you went from like making political videos together to you kind of like doing I guess making death machines. Like how did that come about?
Oh, so that was kind of like my whole life. I've just kind of
He's made death.
I'm really
though,
interested in. Yeah, it's not even a joke. It was just like at school, I was the kind of known as the guy
explosives boy.
that would blow things up. I
Oh
remember
my god.
like we would do like horrible things. Like, I don't know if I should be saying this, but like making letterbox bombs and like we would go
What?
after school
What?
and do them. And then sometimes you'd put a letterbox bomb in someone's
that.
letterbox and then it wouldn't blow up. And then it was just like, it's like, is that the movie The Butterfly Effect?
Yeah.
That's the scene, and like, fuck, now there's this unexploded bomb in this old woman's letterbox. I'm like, do I run back and get it?
Wait.
And then we're-
I need
Wait,
like
how
500. What the fuck
powerful
is
of a bomb are we
letterbox?
talking
What the
about
fuck
here?
is a
Like-
letterbox?
So it was because in Australia you can't buy fireworks or bombs. So I would make I don't know if I should say actually how to make the bomb.
Don't say how to make
No,
it.
don't say how to make it.
Don't say how to make
Wait,
it.
it's all money laundering.
Like, what is this thing?
So it's just like basically it works.
It's like
It's
a
a
gas.
chemical reaction that makes a gas it's a pressure bomb. So
Right.
instead of just like it's a gas that expands inside a enclosed space, and then when there's enough pressure, will blow up.
Right.
Right.
This sounds fucking dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
It's
So
like
why-
it's
why
like
would
when
you
you
put
put
it-
like the dry ice in the
It's
bottle
exactly
kind of
that.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
exactly that,
right.
but just with different chemicals.
Why the fuck were you doing and building these?
Because I just thought it was fun, and then
Big
it's
loud
like-
noises.
And I would muck around with thermite. I remember
How the fuck did you get thermite?
Wait,
Is that just magnesium
you can
and-
just make it. It's just I don't know if I should say how to make it.
I wouldn't say it either.
yeah, but you could just make it. And then I remember I would tell people at school, and then we came up with the ideas of melting the school's gate together so that we couldn't get back into school or something. And then we did this. It didn't work. I just set the grass on fire. And, no, it's probably my school now finding out that I did this.
I got asked. Do you have any background in like engineering or science?
No,
or?
none at all.
Fucking hell.
Probably why I'm so bad at it.
That's the angle, right? People watch your channel to see you get hurt and
I
like
think
do
so.
things wrong.
Or probably to be inspired that like this guy that has no idea what he's doing, if he can make it, then maybe I can do something as well. You know?
You sound almost as insane as Nigel. Like now, right?
Yeah, no,
I
right.
think Nile Red's
But Narad actually knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, but he's willing to take more risk.
Yeah,
Like
he would talk about his childhood, and it was like, I just love.
Yeah, it sounds
making-
very similar to yours.
Yeah.
Just getting like farming the zinc from the batteries and making,
Yeah,
I'm like, what
yeah.
the fuck is wrong? Oh,
Yeah.
you're 10. Play games.
Yeah, he was telling us one time. Yeah, I almost set like a school on fire or something just because I was like fucking around. I was like, how would you get to that point? Have you ever had any bad almost accidents like growing up as a kid?
I feel like, I had a lot of accidents when I was a kid. A lot of always like cut fingers, like fucked up toes from. My worst accidents were not from. Or I had a pretty good one where I
Pretty good one.
with a spear gun where I was like mucking around with it as a child, and I didn't really know how to use things, and I strapped the spear gun down to a table. I don't know what I was trying to find out, but I didn't know spear guns had recoil, so I put my face really close to it, shot the spear gun, and it goes back into my mouth, split open my lip and my thing, and I remember just massive gash. But no, I think that's probably the worst injury I've had. So yeah,
Where did you grow up?
this was just in Sydney. Yeah.
But there's things to do in Sydney, right?
Why are you like,
This was the
Apparently
funnest thing to do. Like,
Joe, can you attest to this?
Well, I mean, whereabouts in Sydney?
in the suburbs, like northern suburbs, like northwest suburbs of Sydney.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm from Northern Beaches.
Really?
Yeah. So and like I'd never heard anyone of your magnitude like doing anything like that.
I
I'm
can't
like,
believe you're making bombs.
Yeah. We did some pretty fucked up stuff in high school.
Yeah, it was bad.
Have you guys been friends since high school?
Yeah.
Since high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, before I met him, I wasn't doing any of this. I was playing World of Warcraft. And this guy comes along and he's like, oh, let's
it's like
blow up
let
the
me
school
take you
or-
into my world.
We
So,
used
so
to.
you were the kid that every other parent was like, do not hang out.
Yeah, he was horrible.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But
God.
we had it as well. We used to play a game. Should we talk about sogging?
What the fuck?
Yeah, but I guess so. I was more auxiliary to that game. I never did the.
What the fuck?
Maybe it's
is
bad. I don't know.
I don't know. It was a game called sogging at school where like we had nothing to do. We probably did have things to do, but we
Definitely had
thought it'd be
things to do.
fun to go
Definitely
down to
didn't
like
need to do
the
that.
highway,
Right.
and we would hide in the bushes and just throw various objects at cars.
Oh my God.
And then the police would come and would run away from the police. And this was like a every week thing.
We had
the
we had one
fuck?
friend. We had one friend that every time he'd do a poo it's on like a napkin and then throw it at cars as they drove past.
That's what monkeys do.
Yeah. It was horrible.
And I still remember the expression. He threw it at a truck, and this truck driver came out. He was like, "How?" We just started chasing us. I was screaming like, "You shit on our truck" or something. Yeah.
This is the worst thing ever.
This has
Why would
really
you do that?
devolved, this
Why would you do
podcast.
that?
Oh,
Why
To be
would
fair,
you-
I didn't even really like it when we were doing it. I just wanted to have friends. I was like, I guess this is what you got to do.
This is what everyone's doing. You're like,
WoW player
sounds
discovers
very
how to make
illegal.
friends.
yeah.
I guess this is how everyone makes friends in Australia, right? Just
Yeah.
chuck poop
Throw
at
shit
trucks.
together.
yeah, exactly.
But
like, you want
that's
some-
kind of the origin of I Did a Thing.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, shit throwing to letterbox bombs to.
So you just wanted to okay, I want to bring this hobby of mine and just share it with the world on YouTube.
So the actual origin was the experience of that, and then Alexa and I made Boiis, and
Yeah.
Alexa I think went to Serbia for a
Oh,
year
yeah.
or 6 months, and then
I was meant to be there for like a very short time, got into like a relationship and just ended up there forever. And Alex was like, I'm not waiting for this guy. I gotta
yeah, so then I was like, after the Boiis and kind of realizing a bit of how much potential YouTube had, I was
Yeah.
like,
Right.
I think I can try this. I was like, what am I interested in? I was like making things and doing
Right.
things. So I started that. And I think I was at it for like a year with relative success. I think I had 25,000 subscribers in the first year. And then the day after the first year, one of the videos caught on.
Right.
And then just channel blew up. And then
Which video was that?
I made a video called How Dangerous is a Metal Straw, which I tested just what a metal straw would do to a human head if you fell on it in your mouth. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah,
Yeah, I bet.
It goes straight through your head.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
What was the first contraption that you made on YouTube then?
First contraption was probably
periscope?
a book that when you open it throws a throwing knife into your face.
Why on earth would you need that?
I don't know how I came up with that idea. Just thinking of
Yeah,
know,
I mean, no one thinks of the ideas that you think of because no one should think of
Yeah.
the
No,
ideas.
the trick is Alex, you guys, not many people know this. Alex actually does not know how to read. And he's had a vendetta against books, and he's just trying to like pay back people who actually do know how to read.
Yeah, it was probably something like that in my head.
Yeah.
No, a lot of the ideas, I'm just like, out of context, I'm like, what does this look like? What is this? Do I look like a psychopath thinking of this idea? Like,
I think so.
The answer is
Yes. What I'm learning from most of the science YouTubers is that there are like there are two science type YouTubers, or building or engineering or whatever, like the unhinged type, and then like Mark Rober type. That are like, we're professional, we do everything above board, and then you have, all right, let's just explode things, let's figure it out, let's make a gun out of tampons. Or
The worst thing is like they all come up with crazy things on their own, but when you get these science guys together, it's horrible. Like at the zoo, like we were staying at like an Airbnb with a bunch of them together, and you and backyard scientists, just pretty much destroyed the entire house. Like within 5 minutes, they caused this explosion in the backyard.
What?
no, within 5 minutes, I had stabbed Kevin,
you stabbed through
backyard
his hand.
scientist,
what do you mean you stabbed Kevin?
by accident.
How did you stab him?
Because we were in the house
hype
and
each other up.
we were we hyped each other up, and the house had locked doors like every Airbnb does.
right.
And we were like, oh, let's go lockpick all the doors and just go rummage through their possessions like fucking horrible people. And in the process of trying to lockpick, I was using a knife to shimmy the lock open. I slipped and just stabbed Kevin straight in the arm and just went straight through his thing, just hit his bone. And this was after 5 minutes, and we had this moment where we stopped and looked at each other and we're just like, why did we do this? Like, how did we get here? Like, how did I stab you, Kevin?
You guys got exactly the same brand of ADD. It's like, and then you enable each other.
Yeah, it's pretty
wild.
bad.
Yeah,
It's like when you see like a dog looking into a mirror, and they're like, this thing's like imitating me.
yeah, like Kevin made backyard scientist. He made like his own rocket fuel.
Yeah, Kevin's
Crazy,
like,
man.
Which is like, what?
Kevin's like the person I want to be in terms of like his level. Like, he's incredibly smart and just will hyper focus on something and just make ridiculous inventions. Like his Tesla coil that plays music and I've never been a spiritual man. When I saw that Tesla coil, I thought I saw God. Like it was crazy. Have you guys heard them play music?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And when you're in the same room as them, it does something where the air, I think, is charged.
Yeah.
So you feel like, your skin literally has goosebumps because there's static electricity, like pulling your hairs out of your body.
Yeah, I recently like played around with the Tesla coil because I was hanging out with this Japanese YouTuber who's basically the equivalent of what you do, but Japanese.
What's his name?
Sushi Ramen Ricky.
Yeah, I've watched him.
Yeah. So like he has a Tesla coil as well, and I went to his place to just hang out with him, make a video, and he was like, "Oh, let's try and cook marshmallows with a Tesla coil."
Nice.
And so we're just standing there holding this thing while this Tesla coil is just burning the shit out of this marshmallow. And yeah, as you said, like I felt my entire body just like get electrically charged, and I'm like, this is not safe. Like I should not be in this room right now.
Yeah.
Was this a homemade Tesla coil?
Yeah. He had like made a Tesla coil, and I was like, "Is this safe?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not dead." And I'm like, "That's not a guarantee at all."
That's not a good barometer considering if he doesn't know what he's doing with electricity, like you said.
Yeah,
But it's a bit of survival of the fittest. If he's lasted this long, that means there's a filter and he's passing it.
Have you ever had to do any like studying for like, or just like upping your knowledge for whatever you're building?
I talk shit about myself a lot, but I have gotten a bit better at making things in terms of like welding and machining abilities.
Right.
It's nice in that now I can actually work with something, break it down, and turn it into parts that are usable. And having the ability to like just turn metal into like bolts and threads and cut stuff is pretty cool, because you can actually look at something and be like, whoa, I can make all the parts to this just with metal at home.
Right.
And then learning to weld is nice because it's just so strong. And it's actually, people talk shit about welding a lot. We're like, oh, you have to do it in this right way. It's like, no, you can just kind of get a stick and go like this, and it does just hold together. It's like, it's nice.
Yeah, I just how'd you come up with your ideas for what you want to make or like your new videos? Because it's sometimes I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. I look at Michael Reeves and I'm like, okay, there's some logic. It's like batshit crazy logic, but there's some kind of logic. And sometimes I look at your videos, I'm like, what the fuck are you trying? What are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to prove here?
I think it's usually starting from one place that's logical. Like something will kind of spark a bit of like a question in my mind,
right?
Of something I've seen in the world, or something someone says, and then you just kind of go from there. You write that idea down, and then you just twist it a little bit or tweak it. A lot of it comes from me thinking, oh, what would people on YouTube like? What's interesting? Like,
How can I put my life in danger in ways that are fun?
Yeah, I feel your videos are kind of like the questions that like high people like ask each other, except you make it a reality.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of videos where both of you have been like, we should make this. And you're like, oh, this is a terrible idea. We should not do this. This is horrible. Ones.
yeah, coming up with the boy ideas is fun because it's really like just like, I don't know, trying to push like political questions or things we're interested in, but you're like, oh, how can we turn that into a political video?
Yeah, like I saw you. I don't know if this ended up being a trend, but I saw you snuck into like an arms dealer convention or something.
Yeah. It did get a bit of people doing the same thing.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and we had a lot of people just make the exact same video.
Yeah, because I saw that one video. Then my YouTube recommended was like, oh, I snuck into a security convention. I snuck into an X convention. I don't know.
Yeah,
Which
Yeah,
is
it was-
very easy.
It was crazy when I was doing it. Yeah, it was so easy, but like I assumed that it wasn't going to work. I'm like, of course it's not going to work. Why would I be in there? And then
So-
apparently like no one checks it.
So what was the process of like sneaking into this convention?
Well, I mean, I was staking out the place quite a bit. I was thinking like, do I like jump the fence? Do I do this? And what I ended up doing was after the first day, all the kind of arms dealers had posted on Twitter being like, oh, I'm a fun day at the festival. And they had all their lanyards there. I'm like, okay, I know what the lanyard looks like. I'll kind of copy it. But for legal reasons, I couldn't copy it exactly because it's like fraud. So it was called Land Forces and I just called it Fake Passes. And there's like a QR code on there. I just put on a random website and then I just walked in. And I think it's one of those like, and you get scanned and no one checks anything and you go straight through and it's just like, I think the way it works, a lot of the security there are terrified of you because you're some like hotshot arms dealer. Like, you know, you're going to get them fired if they hold you up too long. So it's just like,
you
just
could
have to be-
potentially work for Boeing. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're not going to say no.
So I
to
think
this
it's just like confidence is like the biggest part of it, and like it is creepy.
Looking like you belong.
Yeah.
Like just walking in
I
and
think
being
the
like,
coffee's a big trick.
Coffee.
Like
Coffee was
walking
great, yeah.
in with a coffee and a suit, like people are gonna be like, that man belongs here.
business.
He's late and he's grumpy and he's tired and he needs to be in a meeting.
It's like,
It's like,
it's like the modern day equivalent of like the high vis.
yeah, it's exactly it.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
no one's gonna question you. Like,
And the coffee's also nice because you're terrified in there and you always want to shake. And when you're holding something, at least you got something to do with your hands.
Did you get any flack at all for doing that, or was it all just?
No, that was all fine. I think the nice thing about arms dealers is that like everyone hates them. There aren't a lot of people on the internet that are going into battle like, hey man,
Hey,
you're a
come
bit
on,
too
that's
hard.
harsh on the arms.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was an easier one.
Welcome to this sponsored segment brought to you by Cash App. I would like to remind you for a moment that I am a gamer. And what does a gamer need? That's right, experience. And thank God for me, Cash App allows me to get that XP I need to level up my life. And it just made that life grind a little bit easier. With tools for saving and spending, it's the best place for you to level up your money and glow up your life. Listen, I'm a little guilty sometimes of forgetting to pay people. I do it. But luckily for me, with Cash App, it's easy to settle up those tabs. All it takes to pay someone is their phone number, email, or their cash tag. You can even scan their QR code straight from the app. And with my reckless spending, it's very fortunate that Cash App has a way for me to keep track of my coin. You'll see your balance update immediately, so you always know when a payment has gone through. From security locks to data encryption, Cash App uses advanced features to keep you and your money safe. You can also browse topics, find resources, or chat with a human. Cash App support has all the answers to your questions. And I haven't even mentioned the best part, you save money on everyday spending. Get exclusive discounts with Cash App Pay and Cash Card. Cash App allows you to bank the way you want. It's a faster, simpler way to bank without so many fees. If you want to level up your life, you've got to level up your money. So download Cash App in the App Store or the Google Play Store using our link in the description down below. With no hidden fees and a free-to-order debit card, it feels like a cheat code for your finances. Back to the episode.
All right, so you've learned how to launder money, how to get into any convention. Is there any other life hacks you've learned from making your videos?
What have we done? Well,
What's something that like you've figured out through your videes that you're like, this is fucked, but it's commonplace?
oh, the money laundering.
Yeah.
Obviously that one. I don't know.
blanking now. I forgot every video I've done.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the videos you've done. I'm trying to go through my head. I think I've watched all of them or most of them.
I think a big thing from Boiis is just how easy it is to lie as any kind of media company or what's considered like a fact.
Yeah.
That when you actually look into, you're like, there's no real information.
There's nothing behind this.
Nothing behind it, and people don't realize that whenever they're hearing a story, there's an agenda behind it. It doesn't matter which country's saying it. There's always something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's because like objective news is boring. You know,
Yeah.
it's boring, and people don't want to read it and engage with it a lot of times. So you need to like, I guess, spice it up. And we do the same things as YouTubers because we need to like sensationalize our thumbnails and titles as much as possible. Yeah.
Was there any concern with when you were making videos about like maybe Australian politics? Because you know, like Friendly Geordies, right? Do you guys know who this channel is? He covers a bunch of Australian politics and the kind of the corruption and stuff going on. And they firebombed his house for discussing. Well, you don't know who, right? But there's some good ideas about who it probably was. But yeah, I mean, the dude got his house. They tried to kill him. Is there any kind of like, hey, maybe we should, maybe not?
So we did our money laundering video with him. He was like the original guy who exposed it. And like potentially they firebombed him because of it. I don't know. Like, can't say who did it.
The firebombing happened. So we filmed. The timeline was we filmed with him.
Right.
Then 2 days later. Before we released the video, he was firebombed.
Jesus.
And then we had to make the decision. I was really scared. Where I was like, because parts of my
it was just
where I
before
live
Christmas, and
is leaked.
your gift to me was a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, and to my mum was a fire extinguisher as well. I gave her as a gift, and she was so chill about it. She was like, "Oh, thank you. This is great. I'll hang it up in the shoe cupboard." I was like, Do you know why I'm? This is in case organized crime burns your house down. It's like,
no, it was quite scary. Like,
but I think it's we were lucky that Friendly Geordies exposed it first. Took the heat, hopefully, literally. And then we were just like, it's happened now. Are they going to firebomb another YouTuber? That's kind of lame. That's old news,
But he was so lucky as well because like he was meant to die, like because he was meant to be there, and he's someone organized that he like forgot his keys and he had to go stay at a friend's house.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's insane. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, the thought that a YouTuber could be killed or just murdered for just talking about fucking politics is so crazy. We've got to that point where the YouTuber has that much influence that it would be a problem for people, right?
Honestly, I think what it is that like journalists aren't doing their jobs. Like no one's reporting on this, so the only one who is this YouTuber. So he's the one that's going to get fucked.
I guess because there's so much, with a lot of journalism, there's a lot of money that is influence going on, right? And the only people who really don't have any someone to answer to is just a random YouTuber. It's like, oh, fuck my Patreon, and it's like, oh, hey, all right, this is weird. Like this is weird that it's come to this where only independent journalists can kind of really go after this stuff and afford to.
Although to be fair, after the firebombing, I think his subscriber count like doubled.
Oh yeah, went up.
So
he got like 400.
I fucking hope so.
I reckon he did it to himself.
A little suspicious. Right? It was a good video. I watched this video where he was like, "Who firebombed Friendly Geordies?" It was a great video.
Yeah,
it was a really good video. Where it was all laid out about. It was really interesting stuff.
He's a very impressive man. Like I don't understand if I got firebombed. It would probably end my career. I'd probably stop. He's just like so determined. It's very impressive.
Yeah, because he also had like one of his producers got arrested, right?
Yeah,
oh my God,
yeah. This was like a whole big thing as well, like a year ago or something, right? Where they, I'm not too familiar with it, but it was kind of a crazy thing where he was reporting, making videos about a prominent political figure, and then they got like the terrorism or special terrorism unit to
the fixated persons unit,
to arrest his like producer.
So bad.
It's just like, what the fuck is this?
It's just the funniest response when what you're doing is pointing out corruption, and then in order to fight back, like we're going to do the most corrupt thing to you right now.
I'll show you corruption. Thank you. You've proved our point.
I mean, it's really impressive that. I mean, it seems that a lot of Aussie creators, no matter what gets thrown their way, they're just like, fuck it. Just keep going.
That's just the Aussie way, right?
It's like a very Aussie response. You're like, your life, they're trying to ruin your life. You're like, I'll just do it more. I'll make another tampon.
Well, that was kind of my reaction with the tampon gun.
When they raided your house, you got the call while we were making another gun video.
Yeah, I was making a gun video, and then they got the call from my mum that the police were there searching for the gun, and she was like, "Can you come home?" And I was like, "No, I'm filming a video with a gun at the moment, so get back to you." And she was like, she thought it was because of the current video I was filming, and it was so funny that the best thing was the police arrived at the door. They asked my mum. They were just like, "Oh, we're here because of a video Alex has made," and then my mum just starts listing the videos that it could possibly be. She's like, "Is it this one? Is it this one?" And they were just like, "Nope." Nope. Yep, it's that one. It was just-
So it can't be the 10 one, guys.
yeah. Surely not. Like,
Those police played it so well because they were kind of like someone for your mum to vent to. Like they were like, my crazy son is always doing all these horrible things.
yeah. And I told her as well. I was like, Mum, you don't have to tell. Like, if the police ask you questions, you can remain silent. And as soon as I said that, she was like, "Don't you fucking tell me to be silent! Like, if you don't tell me what to say. Like, if you do, I want to say whatever I want." And I was like, "Sorry, just please, you dob me in then. Take me."
I was going to say, like, to be a mother to you.
Oh yeah.
like she'd have you.
It's pretty bad. Like the amount of like when I was helping her.
Not to be rude, right?
Yeah, no, it's completely
it's
true.
reasonable.
Yeah, that's very reasonable. Just the amount of things to fix in that house that was just like, I don't even remember I shot through that wall. I was like, what?
Because you just shoot through walls in your video, and I'm like, how? My mum would beat me. she would kill me if I was firing holes.
The
through
trick
walls
is you
and
get a piece of paper, you put glue, and you put it on the wall, and then she finds out 3 years later.
When she leans against the wall.
you just not watch the videos and you're just firing shit.
Yeah, she did watch them, and then
The thing is, you spent all your life kind of microdosing her on dangerous things. Like, and at least now you're making money from it. So it's kind of like, I guess my son's got a job. Like he's
What does your mum think about all this shit?
Well, I'm lucky that my mum is very supportive of all of it, and was kind of like, because she had a job that she hated. She was an accountant. So I guess in her opinion, she was like, just be anything besides an accountant. Please.
So you went the literal opposite direction.
Yeah. And she was just,
So before you made this your job, how did your mum react to you fucking doing all this shit as a kid?
so I think as a kid, I was just hiding it a lot. Just trying to like,
That is the strat. That is the
just
strat.
sneaking out, then doing it like after school. I would take days off, just would skip school to go do that.
Right.
Yeah.
You're fucking unhinged. You're just like actually crazy. Like, this is not normal.
But I'm making money from it, Connor. So
That's why it
It's
makes
all good
sense
now.
now.
The bombs that I made as a kid was just the precursor to making money. It
I'm
was-
being
You
enabled
could have
by
gone either
millions
way.
on the
Like,
internet. Yeah.
he would have become famous either from YouTube or he would have just been a terrorist. Like, this is the storyline.
What if you were doing this, but you were 15 years younger? Like, he's like 15 years before. There was no YouTube as an outlet. You would have just been like, all right, guys.
ISIS.
You would have been the local like bomb dude.
I remember
a
once
casual arson, you know.
I was talking to a guy that was in SWAT. I forgot what I was doing. I was doing some job before YouTube, and he said to me,
Some job.
he was just like, you remind me exactly of all the guys that get caught making meth. And I was like, well, that's probably what you do before YouTube.
Oh my god. That's like when we went to Nigel. Nigel was like that. Nigel was like, meth is rookie.
I've asked him so many times. I'm like, please, Nigel, like, make meth.
No.
You know how.
Yeah.
It'd be so easy for him. He could like, I made meth out of cotton candy, or like, he would. It would be so easy for him.
Well, yeah, when we asked him about it, he was like, no, it's too easy.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
It's not exciting.
I'm going to make uranium glass instead.
Yeah, he was talking about uranium and stuff. We were like, this sounds bad.
Yeah, and it also seems like you get the authorities calling you for like the weirdest things, because he got one called in him, like the government side, like looking into him for I think it's like a test tube or something, right?
It's like a specific type of tube that you would commonly use for making meth.
yeah,
Really?
So
But
it's like test tube and fucking tampon gun.
Yeah, it also
It's all-
sounds like the government doesn't, at least in when Canada where he was, like the government doesn't regulate the really fucking crazy stuff. It's like no one should be able to get this anyway.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of regulation around like uranium.
Yeah.
It's like, who the fuck can get uranium? Like, you shouldn't be able to get it. So like, why? Like, they just didn't think about making rules. They're like, what? No one's going to enrich uranium.
No, but also you can't. Even if you get the uranium,
Yeah,
you can't
Yeah.
enrich it.
You
It's
tried,
like,
you tried,
I've looked into it.
That was one of your ideas. You want to make a.
Don't I this? I want us to do this video still.
All right, okay.
uranium video.
There's got to have been a video where you were concerned, or you're like, this is too much.
I
Like,
hate all of them.
Yeah,
I don't want him doing any videos.
Yeah.
Like
like
it's
his
so
like
scary.
ceiling fan one looked like terrifying.
Yeah, that
like
was really bad. That's probably the one where it's the noise and the kind of like,
Scaring.
I don't know what it was, like the reverberation in the room of just like, and then just that getting faster.
It was like the dumbest thing ever, because you you had this ceiling fan with machetes that was spinning at only a speed that I can imagine that was so. And then as your defense, you just had this tiny piece of plywood.
And it was underneath the
And you were
fan.
underneath it. And I'm like, this, even if it hit this, it's going to go right
It would
through.
go right through it.
And I was like, what are you doing? Like, just stand in front of it and just go like, all right, let's see. You may as well
My
make it
logic
exciting.
was that because it was spinning at high speed and it was above me, it would almost be impossible. How does the blade get down?
It could bounce off something.
It
Though.
could bounce, but then the speed would be taken out of it.
It was
not
so-
enough.
It would be a lot. But I was
think
like, it would fly through one of the walls or the garage wall where my brothers were standing, not me. So
I think Alex is like a living example of what is it? Was it survivor bias or whatever it's called? He's like, he's done all these things that should have killed him, and he just assumes that everything's safe now. It's just like,
Oh my god!
Don't say this. I'm going to die now. Thank you.
I know you're gonna
There's got to be a
die.
point where you're like, Alex, no, this is bad.
I tell him every day.
Oh my
Please
god!
stop.
Has there ever been a video you came up with where it's just like, nah, this would actually kill me if I tried to do it?
Yeah, so after I made a video where I made a Jacob's ladder, which is where you got a bunch of microwave transformers, hook them together, and you create incredibly high voltage with high current.
You're doing it in parallel, right?
Yeah, you're doing it in
Yeah.
parallel,
Just
and
keeps
you're
climbing.
playing with a dumb amount of amps, so much that it would kill you instantly.
Well, yeah, that's what kills you. Right?
Yeah, and then
I don't know.
and then I wanted to make some more videos with electricity. One of them was doing this thing. Forgotten the exact name now, but it's called like lithographic art. But it's basically
it's
where
where
you
like
take wood,
and it goes like,
Yeah.
create cool patterns. I wanted to do some cool versions of that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, it's just not worth it.
How far did you get into the video before you're like,
Oh, I had made all of it except for actually doing the art, and I was like, no, it's not that interesting, and it's not worth the risk. So that's why it was kind of like, if it was interesting enough, I probably would have done it.
it didn't explode, so it's kind of like interesting,
no.
you know. It doesn't go boom.
I think Boy though has some better examples of stuff where we're like, can we do
Yeah,
this?
because it's got. I mean, it's a
Oh,
different
yeah,
pressure. Right?
yeah,
It's more
yeah,
of a, is this society? Is this acceptable in society? Where
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
will my body survive?
yeah.
You're constantly putting everything on the line.
Yeah.
Well, with Boy we were seriously considering going to Afghanistan to film with the Taliban.
What
Yeah, that was.
Hold the fucking when first-
Recently.
What the fuck?
As soon as America pulled out, we're like, no more war. This is the time. This is the time.
Oh, you're insane.
We'll go talk to the Taliban, see what's happening there.
It's like, so what do you like?
Was it like every single country collectively like, do not go to Afghanistan. This is we cannot help you if you go there.
That's what they said about North Korea, and so like it's survivalizing it.
Listen,
Came back with a fresh cut.
I don't know if you can just tell the Taliban, hey, here's all my details. I'm
Here's
thinking
my
about-
resume.
I'm thinking about a week tour. Like, can I see the sites?
Can I get a haircut there?
Okay, so you were thinking about going to Afghanistan. What is the point where you're like, no, I'm good?
Literally a couple of weeks ago, when a guy got kidnapped.
YouTubers got taken hostage by the Taliban.
Yeah.
That was when we're like,
Was it the British guy?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think British guy did not bowled him bankrupt.
No, he was Lord Michael.
The guy who'd bought one of those. Okay, this dude was fucking weird.
He's a strange guy.
It's like a 4chan kid who
Yeah.
he bought one of those shitty established title scam things and
Oh,
somehow
okay,
actually
yeah.
managed to convince his bank to put Lord on
Right.
it.
That's why he's Lord.
And then he went around actually like, because then his bank had done it. So it's really easy to get everyone else to recognize the Lord thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he went to Afghanistan and was vlogging. And then it was like a whole fuck situation. He was just unhinged. It was clear.
I am a
Yeah,
lord.
yeah,
It was clearly. It was clearly.
that kind of
Come to me,
character.
everybody.
But see, we do it in the non-unhinged.
Yeah, well,
we'd
because
be the normal ones. in
he clearly was just
Afghanistan.
mental illness, just in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
just
he
vlogging it.
seemed
It
a
was
bit
like-
of like a psychotic episode turned into a YouTube.
Yeah, like
right,
attention.
right,
Like he
right.
clearly had like needed some attention, and took it to an extreme level. And he was just hanging around, like vlogging when he was with the Taliban.
Yeah, because he already had a video out, and we saw that, and we're like, "Oh, we can do this. This is easy." And then it turns out you can't.
You pushed it too far, and that's the thing. It's you don't know until you're there, and there's a lot of different factions and infighting, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
at the end of the day, if
It's
you're
also like, what do you like? I mean, what would you get out of it? Like, what would you?
no, I don't think we.
Like,
actually,
is it-
That's the thing, because it's not like we love the Taliban.
Oh, you don't
Why are we going
like
there and be like,
the
look, it's
Taliban?
safe.
Like, what are you, like, are you actually getting anything out of this,
I feel
or is
like
it just
that's
because like you're like
half
this
of their
sounds
content,
stupid?
You know, it's just like I don't know what we're getting out of it, but fuck
Like, what's
it.
the angle?
Well, I think
video?
we
usually
I would
have
say
an
vaguely
angle.
like we have a lot of opinions on the war. Like I think it's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess just going there is like a gimmick, and then we got an excuse to talk about
a gimmick.
No, literally,
Go
like
to Afghanistan for a bit.
well, it's just a great YouTube thumbnail. Like, we joined the Taliban or something. And everyone's like, what? And then you watch it, and then you see like our whole spiel about the Afghan war, and then
but the
trick
thing
people
is,
into
Meanwhile,
listening.
it's
to
just
this.
on every
would be
fucking
a-
Sunday for Bald and Bankrupt.
exactly.
Weird YouTuber,
well, he
dude.
went.
He's a
He went
fucking
to Afghanistan.
he's a
Yeah,
freak, dude.
yeah.
He's just weird.
So this YouTuber that got kidnapped, what happened? Is he still
I don't
kidnapped?
fucking know.
I think
It's
he
just
might still be kidnapped.
gone
Jesus.
silent.
How have I not heard about this?
I'd
No,
never.
he's,
Yeah.
he's barely a YouTuber.
Yeah, he's got not
Yeah,
many views.
he's
He's
he
just
fell off.
How is this not a Charlie video at the very least? You know this.
Well, because I think when it's like that kind of character, it makes it worse when you give those
don't
kind of people.
enable it.
Yeah.
You're enabling him when if you're talking about what he's doing, which I mean
Right.
we should, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like. It's one of those things that when I guess it comes up and it's relevant now, but it's like you don't want to give this fucking dude attention because it's exactly what he fucking wants.
Yeah.
And I think he was trying to push it. Like, we make jokes. I think we still try to do things that are relatively safe. But he really did just push it a lot. Where it was
Yeah.
like, what
Right.
did you want here? What was your end goal?
Well, I think
Like,
you can go to some of these countries if you have a local fixer and
Yeah.
they're really
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
care of you.
yeah.
But I think he literally was just
fucking
No,
show
he
up
was
there.
running around.
just going around doing whatever you want. I mean, you know, yeah, a lot of the time you do need a fixer, which is the hard part. And I think
Yeah.
often YouTubers who do go to these places don't show that they have a fixer or
Yeah.
are not
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, I found this all out, where it's like some dude has literally got you on a leash being like,
Yeah.
it's literally saving your life.
Yeah.
Constantly. It's like, "Oh, leave the dude alone. I've got money.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Aside from Afghanistan, has there been any other videos that you've?
I just feel like you want to go to war zones.
Yeah.
That's the kind of
usually
vibe
war
I'm
zones.
getting.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of those.
You're doing like real life journalism now, like straight
Yeah,
up.
it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
like you guys are really going out there and documenting this stuff, but also it's so sarcastic and so downplayed that it almost feels like this is unreal. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the whole aim, because I don't know personally that, I mean, there are other people that do some kind of journalism, but like I just find it so boring when they're not if you're not making jokes. It's like, who are you even? You're talking to people who are interested in the news, who already know all this shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you're making jokes, it's like you're actually talking to people who aren't going to listen to any of this, you know,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
who wouldn't otherwise listen to any of it.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, it's kind of we're going to sound super dodgy, but there are places that we wanted to go that we still want to go that we can't talk about, because if we tell you, then we'll be stopped from going there. So,
Yeah, there's somewhere we shouldn't even say that much.
yeah.
oh my god! Fucking Australian government, you're leaving.
Yeah,
No, please just go to America. Go to a nice place.
Just go to Afghanistan, please.
Oh my
It's like,
god!
how long are you until you guys are on a watch list, man? That's
Oh, well, I found someone released on Twitter, someone that works at a security expo or something like that, or just worked in government surveillance or security, took a photo of a slideshow that was playing in a security conference, which was a threat assessment of one of my videos, and had like a rating. It was the video where I used drones to drop metal darts from 200 meters and showed that you could pierce a car and be fairly accurate with them. And then someone did a assessment on it. It was like security threat. It wasn't that high. It was like a 4 out of 10.
4 out.
Were you disappointed by that? Were
A
you
little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You had a crazy one from that video because someone used exactly the same mechanism you invented
That was scary.
in the war in Ukraine.
Someone sent me a video and it was like the same. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept. It was just drone takes up something, drops it.
Yeah, but drops it using the light.
The same, yeah, it was weird because I used, because Mavic doesn't have like a trigger mechanism or way to trigger anything, except for you can turn on and off a light.
Yeah.
So I just had an Arduino which had a light sensor. So when you turn on the light, then that triggers a servo motor which opens the arm and you can drop something.
Right.
And then someone used it like exactly the same, and it even like, it just looked like it was the same 3D printed file. And I was like, oh, that's a bit...
And they used it to drop grenades
on Russians,
that-
or maybe Russians on Ukrainians.
So you think maybe they got inspiration from your video, or
I mean, I don't know. I think it's a pretty dropping stuff from the
Yeah,
sky.
yeah,
Pretty common concept, but it was a bit like, oh, that's right. The video has 8 million views, so there's a chance that someone's
oh
watched
my
that. and
god!
Thought, great. Yeah.
You should take credit for your good work. The war in Ukraine wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you. Just own it.
I am responsible. Yeah.
Oh god!
Instead of sneaking into an arms convention, it'll just be we ran an arms.
We started an arms convention right now. What a character development. You went from just blowing shit up in your yard or whatever to now, I guess, making...
Everyone starts somewhere, right?
You gotta start somewhere.
Got a dream big.
Hustle, grind.
Oh my god, both of your guys' ideas are like, what's wrong with you both? What's wrong? It's so unhinged.
Dude, do you have any video ideas for Japan though?
Yeah, we've got a good one we want to do because I think in Japan there's the big culture of salarymen.
Yeah.
And talking about how Japan's such an interesting place where it's so high energy and fun, and then on the other hand you have high suicide rate, depressed people stuck in the same job.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think we wanted to do a job where Alexa and I become salarymen. So live exactly the lifestyle, work in an office.
For Connor.
We want.
We haven't told you about this, but
We haven't pitched. This is us pitching you. We're working for Collar, salaryman. Then we get drunk, become smellier and smellier, more disheveled.
Okay.
we sleep in internet cafes.
Okay.
We sleep in
Alright.
internet cafes, and you can get those pre-ironed suits in 7-Elevens or something.
Oh yeah.
And we just see how long we can last. Like,
Yeah, see what it's like. It's not very
You have to
accurate.
drink a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of
we'll
drinking.
try our best.
Yeah.
We'll take some sacrifices on YouTube, you know.
What's like the limit for that though?
I don't know. I think is a week enough?
As long as Connor's willing to employ us.
until we get fired.
Oh god.
Yeah.
How much
So
am I
we sink
paying
the
you for
company.
this?
I don't know what's minimum wage in Japan
pretty
for
fucking
salary,
low.
man.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
pretty low.
That's what we're doing. We want it to be
What is it?
authentic.
What's minimum wage in Japan? Isn't it like
For a full-time job?
full time's way more? Like part time's really low.
Part-time, like if you're working at part-time at like a 7-Eleven, it's like 700 yen an hour.
Can we Google it?
So that's $7 an hour.
It's like $6-7 an hour.
Yeah, what is it, Kai?
961 yen. So
It's like $9 an hour.
Shit.
That is not $9 an hour in this economy, man.
I think you're talking Australian dollar.
Oh,
In Australian dollars, yeah.
But and in Japan's higher cost of living than Australia in terms of what you get per dollar, or is it?
See,
similar?
I've heard that,
Depends,
but I'm not
depends.
too sure because, like, my general consensus is that Australia's just way too fucking expensive. with
Certain
everything.
things are way more expensive in Japan, and certain things are a lot cheaper. So, like, you
Yeah.
know, like eating out is really cheap, but also
Yeah,
certain food items are very cheap. But maybe stuff that we're more used to eating that we kind of get really
Yeah.
cheap is a little bit more expensive.
I think maybe it's the whole thing of like the rent is expensive for how much space you have.
Tokyo's
Yeah,
expensive.
especially
Tokyo.
Tokyo's
Outside
fucked,
of
yeah.
Japan, it's very cheap, very affordable. But also you're not near anything.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Kind of
Yeah.
like, you know,
Well, that's why there was this whole craze about you can buy really, really cheap houses in Japan,
yeah.
but just like the catch is that you're in the middle of fucking nowhere.
and you have to live
You're
there
in
for like,
Fukushima.
I'm sure there are plenty of houses there for sale, man.
yeah. I mean, not good, not a good area to view. I mean, it's fine now, but obviously you don't know what the consequences are, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
But no, Japan's a cool place though. It's,
Yeah, I'd like to see.
never been, and
how
yeah,
have you never been? It's so close.
I don't
Oh,
know. I
relatively.
think
It is
Well,
not close.
Well,
It's like close relative to
Well, I
other
guess,
places.
yeah,
Australia's
relative,
fucking
yeah.
far from everything.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah,
20-hour
yeah.
flight from everything.
Yeah.
No, I think it's because maybe China was the more unhinged, like the more interesting version of
Because you
Japan.
guys
in
have been to
terms of-
China a bunch, right?
We
Yeah.
can't stop going to China. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
weird.
why China? What do you
It's
like
just
about
so
it? It's cool.
weird and cool, like
Whereabouts have you been in China?
All over the place.
all
We-
over.
I don't even know. We started up first time we went like up north, Beijing, like Inner
Because
Mongolia.
my parents were actually born in Harbin, which is in northern China.
Right.
Because they were Russian immigrants that got
Oh,
kicked
wow.
out of Russia. Then they lived in China. So it was kind of like a place where I'm like, oh, it'd be interesting to see, you know, what
Check
if
out
there's
your
any
roots.
any Russian stuff left there. And it's like, no, now there's just a city of 10 million people and like
Yeah.
nothing left. It's like crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, god
This is a
damn.
cool place. Love the food. Everyone's like hilarious.
Yeah.
Everyone like is really friendly. I don't know. I
It's
really
probably like Japan a bit where like people are just really excited to see white people. So you're a bit kind of like cheating where you're just like you rock up to a village.
I
And
think
they've
maybe
never
China more so than Japan, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Japan, they're kind of like,
Yeah.
fucking tired of
They're
seeing
sick of
white
it.
guys.
And China's just so massive. The thing I really love about it is you can go to a city with like, you know, the same population as Sydney, but
Yeah.
no one's seen a white person before.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. You're
It's
like,
insane.
how is there that many people here? But it's like so, it's just its own thing. I don't know. It's
I mean, I guess like the politics around the country have kind of made it pretty kind of shut
Yeah.
off almost from
Yeah,
a lot of the
yeah.
places.
When was the last time you went to China?
2019, just before COVID.
Just before COVID. We actually filmed a video in a wet market in China.
in Wuhan. Yeah.
in Wuhan?
Yeah.
Oh,
with, with crew from Wuhan.
Yeah.
Just before COVID.
Wait, so
like
wait,
a
wait,
month
wait.
before COVID.
What were you filming in? Was it just about the wet markets?
It's kind of dodgy.
This is a video that's
Is it out or is it gone?
It's being
gonna come
released
out.
soon. We
It's
can
gonna
say
come
what
out
it
soon.
is.
We went to the dog meat festival in Yulin.
For what purpose?
So we're kind of exploring
hungry?
the nature of exploring why we're so offended with Chinese people eating dogs when we ourselves
all the
love
other
to
animals,
eat so much meat.
Yeah,
And exploring what's the difference. Is it but is there actually a difference between a dog and a pig? And then exploring the cultural reason as to like why we just like pinning it on Chinese people.
Do you reckon that's going to piss a lot of people off, that video?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's hard because dogs are such lovely animals and we love
So
dogs.
cute.
And it's like, you know.
But it's hard. I feel like if you lived with a pet pig, you'd have exactly the same relationship. Like
Yeah.
they're very smart, very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people who don't eat pork, including my mother-in-law, just because they were just like, I can't do it. I see the pigs same way they see his dogs.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, religion as well, you know.
Yeah, religion as well, yeah.
It's for all different reasons.
That's the thing. When we were there, we were at the festival, like interviewing a bunch of people. A lot of guys were just like, Westerners don't eat dogs, Indians don't eat cows. It's the same thing. And we're just like, yeah, well, I mean, fair enough.
Were people pretty open to just talking on camera there?
It was surprising that people were.
Like, fuck it. I guess they don't know any better, do they?
No, they had some good opinions about it as well. And like some people had some dumb opinions.
Oh,
where it
yeah.
was
They were like, oh, we only eat the bad dogs.
we only eat the bad dogs. Yeah. And the obsession with it making you better at sex was
Oh,
so
yeah.
strange.
Dogs
It was
like
such a
crazy
common thing.
aphrodisiac.
Yeah, and this guy was just like,
Gets
makes
you
you
real
like
hard.
really good at sex. And then he offered the dog's penis to Alexa.
That was so trippy. So I was eating a dog's penis, and it was what you don't realize, or maybe you guys know this, I don't know, but they've got this thing called a baculum, which is like they have a bone inside their
Oh
penis.
yeah.
I didn't know that, and I was
Would
like,
you say yeah? Like you're like, yeah, I've tried a dog's penis before.
I mean, I've owned many dogs.
But in my head, I was like, oh, it's like my penis, and I just bit straight through it, and like almost like chipped a tooth on a dog's penis, but I didn't realize there was just a hard bone inside.
Oh.
Fuck, guys. What the
Sorry, mate, that's probably the wrong thing to talk about.
Why can't
The idea is we want it.
I just love the opening to that sentence.
Yeah,
I was eating
yeah,
a
yeah, I was
dog's
eating a
dick,
dog's
right?
dick.
I need a dog's dick. Like, what the fuck?
No, the angle was we wanted to interview all these people there, and I think coming in as a Westerner, the idea is that you're there as an activist and you're trying to stop people from eating dogs. So like, in order to get the best interviews, we were
You eating it?
eating.
Yeah.
Well, I ate like 2 kilos of
We
dog.
ate so much
It was
dog that day. Yeah.
I like actually became vegetarian for like 2 months after
oh,
that, where I was
yeah.
like just so sick of like just eating meat.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking like an undercover cop right now who's just like, yeah, I had to try all the drugs when they had to go and put it out.
Oh, like, you know, it's like kind of like Louis Theroux a little bit, right? He'll do whatever, you know, if they're a porn worker, he'll go and do everything except the porn. But he'll do everything else around it, right?
Yeah,
To, like,
yeah,
show.
yeah.
I think you know, if you are willing to show people that you're not judgmental, it's just like, hey, can you just? I want to just honestly know why you do this, and I'm not coming here to like run a hit piece. It's like, hey, could you just tell me and I'll eat the dog dick.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it is confronting, and especially like seeing dogs, you're just like, fuck, this is
Yeah,
this is horrible. But like at the same time, like they found it confronting just the quantity of meat that we eat. Like
Yeah.
Right.
they eat so much less. Like it's such a smaller part of meals over there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was I mean, so presumably they were all speaking in Chinese. How did you navigate these interviews?
We
Yeah,
had
we
a
had
fixer.
translators,
We had
yeah.
a fixer for
Oh,
that.
okay.
which
That
is
helps a
really
lot.
nice.
That helps a lot.
How'd you go about finding a fixer for like a certain country?
He was just a guy that had just posted on social media. I
Right.
think he actually studied in America.
Yeah.
And then he was a guy we saw. And
brought
just-
in a couple of friends.
And then it was funny because it was his friends, and there was just too many people there, and everyone was doing different things, and it's really hard. I'm sure you guys have probably worked in countries where you don't speak the same language. It's so hard to
Yeah,
communicate
yeah.
what you want.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with working with real people who are doing something else and don't want to be.
Yeah,
on
they're like,
camera.
I don't fucking care about you.
Yeah.
So it was like, but we managed to get some footage, talk to people, and
Oh,
just
awesome.
just cool.
Yeah, I'm
place.
curious because I haven't been to China since they added like the whole social credit kind of system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that would be an interesting.
how
thing to do.
bad is like the surveillance there nowadays?
We found it interesting because we didn't really. There were some rules you meant to follow in China. One of them is you meant to let the government know which hotels you're checking into. We didn't do that the entire time, and we didn't get in trouble at all.
I honestly, I feel like it might be a bit overblown because it felt a lot more chill than I expected.
Do
Like
you reckon maybe it's
seem
because
like
you're tourists? Like maybe
Probably, yeah, that's probably part of
it.
But that's the thing is, you can't go in on a journalistic visa
Oh, yeah.
because you're not allowed. So when we were going in, we're going in as tourist visas, filming undercover, not telling people what you're doing. And then when we did have interactions with the police, you just kind of pretend you're not.
no, but it was.
Wait,
it
when
was-
did you have interactions with
So
the police?
at the festival we were filming, and obviously we're not meant to.
Yeah.
But a cop came up to us, and it was just so chill. Like I don't even.
They took a photo with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were like,
There's a
they asked us if we were activists, and we're like, no, we're not here. We're just here to eat some dog meat.
Yeah.
And then
It's like,
they were
"My
like,
man."
they were almost confused. They were just like, oh, okay, you can kind of stay then, I guess. Like, yeah.
It's a weird comparison though, because like I think it is quite chill for us to go there. I think they come down real hard on domestic journalists.
Of course.
As a foreigner, I think there's just like, it's too much of a PR disaster for them to do anything. They're pretty relaxed.
Yeah, the guy we were chatting to, our fixer, he really didn't want to talk about politics in China because he was like, it's scary to do.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, how'd you go about filming covertly? Because I guess you can't just fucking rock up with DSLRs. And,
Kind of works. That's what we did. We had it one time, like the end of the trip, we were walking through this random village. I forgot where it was. It was just outside of Yulin. And we came across the sweatshop where these kind of like mothers were working, and they actually had their kids kind of like playing in the sweatshops as well. Some were mucking around on machines, and we just walked into the sweatshop, sat down on a sewing machine, and just started pretending to make things, and were filming. And everyone just found it hilarious. It was so strange. It was just working in a sweatshop. It was so funny. Like,
that's all going to be in the video. Check it out.
Holy
When is
shit.
this coming out?
When's this coming out?
when Alexa finishes making it.
This is. Do you ever stop to think like, this is fucking insane? Like what we're doing is so fucking sweet.
Yeah, some of that was.
Then
like,
you get addicted. You're like, the next one's got to be worse.
Oh my god.
Christ.
This episode of Trash Taste is sponsored by Incogni.
Here's a scenario for you, Connor. Say, for instance, Connor's traveling in America, and out of a combination of pure, absolute desperation and just being Connor, he eats a petrol station hot dog. Aside from the crazy things that would happen to his stomach, the last thing he would want is for every other petrol station in the world to know about it, then flood his Instagram with ads about petrol station hot dogs.
Why?
Isn't that a true nightmare scenario, right, Connor?
Yes.
Well, that's pretty much what happens every time you're online. Thousands of companies are collecting, aggregating, and trading your personal data without you knowing anything about it. You actually have the right to request data brokers to delete what information they have about you and protect your privacy. The bad news, however, boys, it would take you years to do it manually. Literal years. That's where Incogni comes in. Incogni can do the messy work for you automatically. Incogni helps you protect your privacy and takes your personal data off the market by reaching out to data brokers on your behalf, requesting your personal data removal, and dealing with their objections. To check it out, go to incogni.com/trashtaste and use code TRASHTASTE to get an exclusive offer of 60% off.
That's incogni.com/trashtaste and use code TRASHTASTE. Just click the link in the description, guys.
Back to the episode.
So when you travel to these countries, do you actually go with a journalism visa most of the time now?
Never. No one's going to give it to us. Like, that's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, imagine to be part of like BBC or whatever. Something like that, right?
And also, it just takes a long time. So, like with China, it's like there's a vague possibility that we could have gotten a journalist visa if we waited like a year or two.
I imagine you're under more scrutiny though.
Exactly. And then
That's the point of it, because you're going there to do journalism, possibly criticizing a country. So it's weird for a country to be like, come on in, criticize them. And they do it, but obviously then they're watching you.
And I think it's also we live in an age where like consumer grade video technology is
Very
great.
good now.
So there's no real difference between what we use and what like an ambitious tourist uses.
Is there any concern for being banned from certain countries or?
Or getting
There's
arrested?
Some video ideas like the one with not talking about, where it's like, you can do stuff, and then if you piss off the wrong people, you can just get banned from America, or
Right.
Damn.
What's your opinion on like modern day journalism then? Because it kind of feels like you are trying to bring a new angle to journalism, trying to make some jokes, trying to do it like a different direction to what every other like I guess mainstream news outlet does.
I think there's some big blind spots. Like there's a lot of good journalism out there still. It's pretty rare in my opinion, but the biggest one is like anti-war stuff doesn't exist. Like it's so freaky. Like especially, what we're concerned right now is with like war with China. It's just like everyone's set on it. Everyone's like, we're going to war. Like every news article is like, it's going to happen.
And even like the ABC government and stuff, or SBS news channels in Australia that are meant to be like
balanced.
And it's like just pushing for war, and everyone kind of forgets. It's like a lot of journalists are just like almost trying to justify either side. It's like, no, this is never good. It's like Russia and Ukraine. It's like, no, just the whole thing's bad. Like, war's never good. Like,
let's not do war.
Let's just avoid that at every cost.
I guess it gets clicks, right? War's scary and scary gets clicks, and that's kind of where a lot of journalism is at right now. It's just about sensationalizing, and getting people angry or worked up or scared.
Definitely, And also, I think it's like it's so incestuous in that like so many of these big media companies are funded by the same like companies essentially, or like they're all sponsored by different things. It's just like they have like really strict limits to how much they can move and who they can what companies they can tread on the toes of. It's like,
I like how you use the word incestuous to describe that. I was like, where are you going with
My
this?
mind went places. I was like, okay.
No, it's insane that, some of what it feels like modern day, legitimate journalism is being just done by some random guys on YouTube now. I think back to like, Channel 5. Started off doing like fucking interviews of like the craziest conventions you can find in America, and then one day I go on my YouTube and he's like in Ukraine talking to some of the survivors,
that was crazy.
or some of the refugees, and I'm like, fuck, is this what modern day journalism is like turning into now?
I mean, I remember during the Black Lives Matter protests, he was just in a store
That was on fire.
and I was like, and you notice like journalists could be doing this. Like, there's nothing stopping you from doing this. Like, it's pretty impressive.
It's insane. It's all just all because, like you said, they're just being paid by people and they don't want to tread on their toes.
Right. Have you ever been banned from a country or yet?
I was in Singapore. I got banned for 2 weeks. I think it was 14 days because when I had been doing a trip, me and Alexa traveled through China and then Russia and then into I was in Bosnia and there was a war there, and I was just walking this random town and I found bullets on the ground. So I put the bullets in my bag. Forgot about
Why did you do that?
I thought I wanted to take them home. I didn't think about it. Forgot about them. Traveled a bunch. Then in Singapore, that's when they found the bullets. And then they interrogated me. It wasn't too bad.
And then they saw your YouTube channel and they were like...
This was before.
This was before YouTube.
Yeah.
Wait, so why the fuck were you just roaming around Bosnia and Russia?
No, this was just for fun. I think.
No, Bosnia was a visit. I mean, I got family back in.
Bosnia. I went to
Yugoslavia.
Alexa's family, and then I just wanted to check out the area. And there's a cool place called Mostar, and there was civil war there.
Right.
And then Singapore found the things, and I think I got a 14-day ban, which isn't very much.
That's like nothing.
Nothing. But they said if I bring weapons in again or bullets in, then I faced prison time.
They literally did a Twitch ban for you. It's 14-day ban. He's going to have his comeback stream. It's like, guys, I'm back in Singapore now.
Back, no bullets this time.
You're the only dude I know who would just pick bullets up off the floor and take them.
And forget about it.
They're interesting. I don't understand.
But also, like, what kind of clumsy terrorist do they think you are? Like, you've gone and done training with some militia, and you're like, whoops, accidentally kept my.
Yeah, they
bullets.
asked me. They were like, "Have you been training with terrorist organizations?" I was like, "No, I don't think so." Like, maybe.
Alexa's your family training.
It's a family.
It's my family. It's a family business.
So you guys have obviously done a lot of traveling, even like before YouTube. How many places have you been to then? How much
I
of the world
don't
have you
know.
seen?
Maybe I think I've probably been to 20 countries around
That's
that.
pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, it's not that much compared to like the people that consider themselves travelers. You know, people on YouTube have done like 150, close to the 198 countries.
Well, I think our issue is we used to travel a lot, and then as soon as we went to China, we're just like, well, I guess we're just going to keep going to China.
But also making content as well. Now,
that's true.
Now I almost get a bit annoyed when I travel to a place and I find it really hard to find a reason to take a holiday. I almost get a bit bored where I'm like, I could be making something. Becomes a bit of a content train.
Yeah. Well, like, when traveling becomes part of your content, you're like, well, I could be working right now.
Yeah.
This is unoptimized.
And it gives you a mission as well. It's like playing a video game where you have a quest and you're like, I'm not just traveling because I want to sit on a beach and get drunk or pool, you know.
We used to do that.
Up.
We used to have little quests even before we would making content. Like when we were in China the first time, they had this thing around Beijing, potentially in other cities, where I think because of like nuclear war, they decided to build all these bunkers, and now they're kind of like unused. But there's like a whole bunker system underneath Beijing that's like linked up, and just really hard to find. And we spent like weeks just looking for these things. But like now we look back, like fuck, that would have made a nice video. Like you ended up finding them, and they were. And
I found them by accident. I was staying in this just Airbnb, and then one day I just walked underneath one of the apartments, and I was like, oh, that looks like the symbol for bomb shelter. And I went underneath, and then there was just like tunnels, and you walk through like the atomic bunker doors, and then there was just people living in these bunkers underneath Beijing.
Whoa.
And then like total extra, I'm like, dude, I found the bunkers. None of this was
so
recorded.
long.
None of this was recorded.
You're sleeping in your bunker. Then this dude just
giant
opens up this, and a 6'4" white guy just has a look around. He's like, "This
That
is sick."
literally happened. I told Alexa, I was like, we need to go back. And then I'm walking through the bunkers. I'm walking deeper and deeper. And then I'm like, I am in someone's house. This woman's cooking and she's looking at me. And I'm like, I'm a monster. Like, what am I doing here? This is just amusing for me, this poverty porn and me being like, bunker. Like, holy shit. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
Yeah.
this was before you started.
This was
making-
before
this was
YouTube. Just
What is your ideal holiday?
Yeah.
guys?
What the
Yeah,
fuck
I
were
need
you
some
doing?
time off. I need to go see a bunker.
You know, most people they like going to the beach,
Yeah.
chill out with a cocktail.
Is there
You're
a country you want to go to that's not necessarily linked to content? Or is it always just like, I can make a video
Yeah,
there?
Well, it's all
usually
content
content.
now. Our brains have been melted.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's
Just
hard to think of.
fascinated with the bizarre and the weird
Yeah.
parts of
Weird
human
stuff.
experiences.
Yeah.
and then meeting the people there and then showing their way of life to people
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
YouTube is pretty cool.
Is there any like cool countries you went to before? Like you started traveling for content?
Probably not. No.
I love Cuba, but that's its own other thing.
Oh yeah, if you go to Cuba, you can't go into like the US, right? Or something like
Can
that.
you go now? or-
I think
Yeah.
you can actually, but I think there's still some limitations around Cuba in some senses.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not exactly sure what. But yeah, I mean, other than that, do you guys watch anime?
I
What a segue.
I do actually. I was a bit of a when I was growing up. I loved Hayao Miyazaki. I still really like
Yeah.
all the
Oh,
Studio
right,
Ghibli films.
Ghibli.
Gilby.
Ghibli.
Fucking Gilby, mate.
Gilby,
Yeah, Gilby.
Studio Gilby. And then I watched a lot of Naruto. I watched Bleach.
Oh hell yeah!
I watched One Piece. I watched Death Note.
Nice.
Yeah.
How much
See
of
your
One
fair
Piece
share,
did you
yeah.
watch? Because that's when you say you watch One Piece, that means a lot of things.
Yeah.
How far did you get?
I didn't watch that much One Piece. I watched a lot of Naruto.
Okay.
I watched like 7 seasons, 8 seasons. It was like 100. I think it was like 160, 180 I was up to.
Yeah,
So that's a lot.
Isn't it like 300 episodes?
it's,
halfway there.
it's more than that. I think.
I think it's
Yeah.
just
Just
oh,
close,
no,
just shy of
was a lot,
400, I
yeah.
think.
yeah, because
Jesus
there's
Christ.
Naruto and then Naruto Shippuden,
Yeah.
which is like the longest season. How far did you get?
I don't remember where I got up to, but yeah, around 180 or something. I remember. It was,
Fucking hell.
it was a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of episodes.
It's more
man.
than Connor.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched Naruto. I really want to. No. What about you? Watch anime? Or
Yeah,
you
I was.
normal?
I mean, like barely. I watched heaps of. It doesn't even count. I watched heaps of Dragon Ball Z and
Yeah.
Pokemon as a kid. That's like that. But before coming on here, I'm like, I gotta do the crash course. I gotta go. To it. And I literally, well, I just ended up watching all the Studio Ghibli films again. But no, what I did find was Cowboy Bebop, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's
I was like, what have I been
classic,
doing
man.
all my life? It's like,
Yeah.
such. I loved it.
Watch
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's
and
very
what's
good.
annoying? Have you watched the new? What's
the
what's the one that's copied off the computer game?
Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
I was just like, this is just Cowboy Bebop.
But worse. Yeah.
Oh my
How is it? How is it? The fuck is it Cowboy Bebop?
Because it's just bounty hunters.
Bounty
kind of
hunters
just
and like,
with-
I don't know.
you don't think so?
I
No.
That's the
We're having
first
a
time.
discussion with the wrong
That's,
people.
that's the
Did you
first
like-
time I've
okay,
ever
like
heard that
Cyberpunk?
comparison.
I liked it a
I
lot.
don't know.
alright.
I made that comparison as well. But I actually prefer Cyberpunk. I don't know. I think Cowboy Bebop is great, but I like having like an ongoing storyline.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. Cowboy Bebop was just like every
Bite-sized.
episode was
Episodic.
kind of like self-contained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was cool. They had some like really cool fucking ideas. But Cyberpunk was just like group of bounty hunters, and you see their journey from like beginning to end. And
Cyber Psychosis
Yeah.
was sick too.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Some of those scenes.
That's cool.
Yeah. Some of those scenes in Cyberpunk were just so
Even
insane.
the opening scene of the show. is so
Yeah,
sick.
yeah. The
Yeah.
battle scenes were just awesome. It's like, yeah.
Did you play the game as well to that?
No, I didn't. My
Yeah.
brother played it, but he just complained about the glitches so much.
It was so bad.
I'm not touching this. Like,
Yeah.
so bad.
yeah.
Also, it's hard with video games because like I get obsessed, and if I download it, I'm just not going to make videos ever again. So like, I have to keep it safe, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the tough part.
Do you still game a lot or not
I
anymore?
don't do anything. I play online chess.
The greatest game.
That's the original OG addicted
Hasn't needed
game.
a patch in thousands of years, man. It's the OG.
Oh,
They've not needed to patch that or anything.
No,
man.
no,
It's-
you pushed a fair amount there. Man. should definitely. You've watched
he's a real one.
Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's pretty weeby. That's pretty anime. Yeah, that's pretty deep in the source.
Sick.
Oh, what's your favorite Studio Ghibli anime?
I reckon probably Princess
Mononoke.
Yeah. or Howl's Moving
I
Castle.
like House Moving
Yeah.
Castle. Anti-war, kind of.
Yeah, I really liked Howl's Moving Castle. Watched it so many times. But Princess
I'm gonna say
Mononoke, just the nature
Go on,
of the
say a hot take.
human.
I'm going to say the most basic, but
Okay.
I really like Spirited Away.
Spirited Away is great.
Oh,
I
of
think
course.
it's
Yeah.
amazing.
You can't complain with that.
I haven't seen Spirited Away.
You should watch it.
Well, you've never seen Spirited Away?
No, I just know all the screenshots
bits,
of
yeah.
The fuck?
I've never seen Princess Mononoke. I think I lied and said I saw it one time on the podcast. I felt pressured to watch it, but I haven't seen it. I've watched a lot of them, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a real
it's
Studio Ghibli fan, are you, Connor?
No.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about this before, but Hayao Miyazaki's kind of a dick, and it kind of puts me off. When I watch his
He's a
films.
dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Is he
a massive
like in
cunt,
person?
yeah.
He's
Is
a,
he
Like,
like
he's
a-
his
He's
like,
just-
his
just
like,
abuses
okay,
his
this,
staff
This
or
is like
something.
this is like my thing, like my. So some people are like, that's fucking based, but I don't know why this pissed me off so much. His son made a movie and he went to the premiere and he walked out halfway through it. I was like, it's shit.
so I should laugh.
Yeah, there's literally a scene. He walks out of the cinema,
He's
lights a
smoking.
cigarette, and he's like, "You still got a long way to
Yeah,
go."
he's like,
Yeah.
he's still not
That's
ready.
cool. That's like an anime. He's like an anime in real life.
Like you
My
know-
son's a disappointment.
Like, that poor kid had the worst fucking dad of all time.
Yeah.
And now he's taking it fucking out on his own kid that he was a shit dad.
In
I'm like,
public.
I mean, to be fair, it was
the
a
film
shit
crew
film.
was there. And he was like,
Yeah.
he's just not ready. He's just not ready. And it's
Yeah, but
like,
to be fair, I did watch
a
the
shit
film. It's a
but
shit
still,
film.
Like you got to
Yeah.
lie.
It was actually
he was
shit.
right. He was
Yeah, he was right.
But
But
if
he's
you lie,
definitely-
you develop shit kids. You know?
And that, okay, there's some things you just gotta lie, and that is
Yeah.
just one of the things that I just think no matter how much you just gotta be like,
All right. You know,
felt.
your son comes back with a drawing, and like it's like, hey, dad, I made this at school.
Bro, you know he
they're like
roasted
5
his
years old or
drawings.
something.
You know he
And
roasted
it's
his
like a
drawings.
shit drawing, all right. Do you lie and say this is amazing, son?
Well, if
You know,
they're
or-
5, yeah, but like
you
you know,
encourage
how,
them to do more by saying,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but-
encourage them to do
Package
more,
it
right?
nicely. It's got to be
Yeah.
a bit of encouragement with a bit of, oh, you could be better. This could be better.
Yeah.
You know, like
No, it's the fact that he didn't even like tell his son it was shit. He just walked out. You know, he just walked out. Now he is the dad that went out for cigarettes and never came back. You know?
that's so. Oh,
Yeah.
space.
that makes me like him more.
people hear that and they either like him more or they
I think that's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah,
Well, it's like Jackie Chan. You know, have you heard about his son's life?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's his son did drugs, right? And that's very illegal.
Yeah, he was like Jackie Chan. He was like the ambassador for like
Yeah, he was.
anti-drugs on like.
He's
the,
like, I do not claim my son.
Yeah.
anymore."
And his son got caught like doing weed or something
Yeah.
in his apartment. And the more I found out about it, the more I found out, he just wasn't there for his kid.
Yeah.
No, he was just never
He's
home.
just a shit
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah, he was just a shit dad.
Just be busy being
I
a
mean,
movie
if
star.
you're gonna be a bad father, he probably picked the coolest way to do it. Like the stuff he was doing when he wasn't with his kids, awesome.
You know, he took one for humanity. You know, like we got sick films.
I was only making the greatest films ever made.
A lot of bad dads are just like, I don't know, doing drugs somewhere. Like that. Like he
He's
gave
making
back.
cool films.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like Jackie
Hayao
Chan
Miyazaki
raised
thing?
me.
My dad's
while
a
he-
bad dad, and he doesn't even know how to do cool fight choreography. if he did that, I'd be like, I forgive you.
He's gonna beat you up in style.
Throw a table at me, kick it back, with a set or something. You'd be like, cool.
He gets out the nunchucks. You know.
Do you like hentai?
When I was a child, I liked hentai.
Hold on. How old?
Hold up.
When I was 4, I don't know, 16, I was like, oh yeah, hentai is cool. Not for me anymore.
I missed out on hentai. I feel like I watched like cartoon porn as a teen, but I needed.
Well, like fucking like Marge Simpson. getting
Exactly.
around.
That's exactly what it is.
No.
We were talking about this yesterday.
Literally Marge Simpson.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's the weird ads you see on Pornhub.
Yeah.
You watched those?
Yeah, well, I did when I was a
Why?
kid. It doesn't do it for me ananymore. But like,
Oh, the fact that it did it for you at any point is concerning.
I was very connected to these characters. You know, it was like
The character arc you want.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I remember Kim Possible porn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No.
Wait, is he like?
Wait, do you
are they
consider
fucking
like
the mole
Kim
rat?
Possible porn?
What's
That's
sorry.
that's hentai, right?
That's not hentai.
Why?
I mean,
Why?
okay. What is hentai?
Yeah.
Discuss.
What's the
Is it like? I mean, I guess it's animated porn, but I guess like hentai has a connotation where it's like Japanese,
Yeah.
comes from
So
Japan.
you don't watch Japanese
kind
stuff,
of
you just
things.
watch cartoon porn.
Yeah, I've only
No,
done
I watch
cartoon porn.
actual Japanese hentai as well.
How did you find out? How did you
I
discover
find
it?
out?
Yeah.
I remember there was a guy from in our school who would bring hentai to school, and the teacher's desk, he would walk up when he was asking her a question. He would stick hentai.
This is Ouija.
This was Ouija.
Yeah.
We'd stick hentai to the front, and then no one knew, and then we would just stare at hentai all lesson and just laugh.
so wild.
Like, it was great. And then after that, I was like, wow.
Where did
This is kind of hard.
This guy, he knows. What he's good.
It's got the goods.
we've done some episodes where we've reviewed hentai.
Really?
Yeah.
'Cause,
There's some real
there's
fucked up ones.
Yeah.
some good ones.
Yeah, I remember like the way I discovered hentai was through fucking LimeWire. I can't remember what I was trying to download, but it was probably
Clinton,
some
actually.
music or something. And you know, instead of getting like Bill Clinton like we did back in the day, I just discovered this hentai, and I was like, what is this? Where can I find more of this? So, yeah.
Scourging through LimeWire to find the next episode.
Do you remember how you discovered it?
It might have been the same, honestly. I think it was like, oh yeah, no, I remember. I was at my friend's place and he was trying to like show me like this new Linkin Park song or whatever. And he was like, oh, I'll try and find it on LimeWire. And then he downloaded it and it was, an episode of,
Fucking LimeWire, man.
of whatever hentai it was. And I was just like, whoa, sick. This is cool. And then I went home and searched it up, and that's how I found it.
Because I didn't even know it was called hentai, you know, back in the day.
Right.
Because like, you know, this was back when a lot of people didn't know that anime was called anime, hentai was called hentai. It was just weird fucking shit from China. You know, I think,
It's Chinese cartoons.
Yeah. And I remember because, you know, not many people talked about anime and hentai back in the day. And I remember I was out with some mates out at a pub, and we were, you know, getting a few drinks, and we were like, so guys, what's the biggest thing that you've jacked off to that you regret? And then one of my mate goes, dude, one time I jacked off to anime porn, and everyone's like, oh, you're fucking sick, mate, what the fuck? And I'm just here sitting in silence being like, yeah, that's
deep
weird,
this
man.
guy
That's
is.
mad weird. That's weird.
Yeah, that's fucking gross.
Oh my god.
So what's next for you guys? What are you guys planning anything big or just?
I don't know. Well, I mean,
We got the China doco, the Dog Meat Festival, coming out hopefully in a month.
we got some different boy ideas, some big videos, but it's hard with the travel ones because it takes so long.
lot of
and
work.
Yeah.
Commitment.
high risk, and then got some idea to thing videos as well.
You can do any collaborations with other content creators?
Hopefully. It's always fun doing that.
Come work under me and be a salaryman.
Yeah, but it's possible if you need
the best
really
place to pitch,
bad
'cause you-
office workers.
Jesus Christ.
You seem terrified. You seem terrified by the idea.
I am.
We really put you on the spot pitching on the podcast.
You can't say no. Yeah.
I mean, someone's got to keep you out of trouble in Japan.
Oh, yeah, true.
Otherwise, you'll be like,
I'd be
hey, so
terrified to hire you.
you'll rock up. You'll have like face tattoos and everything. Like, so we've joined the Yakuza. And it was really fascinating because we did that. And I was
I think
like,
they're great people. I love them.
It's misunderstood.
oh my God.
Oh my god.
Anything you want to shout out before we wrap it up?
No, I guess
Just check out the channel.
check out the channels.
Thing, Boy.
Thing and Boy, and
All right. Well, good. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
for having us.
Hey, look at all these patrons though. You see all
Yeah.
of them? They're all on the screen right
Oh,
now. Look at
That's
that.
a lot of
Just
patrons.
pick one
Yeah.
that you think is cool.
I know that guy.
Bill. That's a great guy. That's all I know.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, guys.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Joe, you want to do the traditional?
Yeah.
do the
Hey, if you want to
outro?
support the show, then make sure to go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us some memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face,
Wow,
listen
so
to us on
professional.
Spotify. And thanks guys for coming
Yeah,
on to the
thank
show.
you very
guys.
much.
Thank
This
you
has
very
been the living definition of fuck around and find out.
Yet to find out. Yet to find out.
I hope I
Yet
never
to find out.
All right. Well, bye, guys.
Bye.